Hello Internet, welcome back to the Fast Travel Lounge. You're listening to a very special episode 100. That's it, we did it boys, we can shut it down, we got the easy century.
We need to make it through this one first.
My name is Patrick, and as always I'm joined by Saif, say hi.
Hey, hello.
And Steve, say hi, welcome back.
Bringing back an old classic for this one. Good Stevening, everyone.
That's not classic, that's pretty new.
Yeah, that's like saying that I really like it when I throw it back to like 2015. It's not really a throwback, you know?
It's like remastering The Last of Us 2.
Holy shit.
I'm due for a HBO special then.
We'll get to that. Can't believe Pedro Pascal is joining live in person for this special 100th episode.
Okay, before we start though, I need to put both of you on the spot.
Nope, not happy with this.
Why?
First up, Steven, you missed out of last week's audience question. What's your favorite console generation?
360 generation.
Oh, that was not the correct one, I'm sorry.
Okay, well, it's nice to hear that you guys were wrong in my absence.
So do we murder him now?
Oh, promises. Hang on, what is the best console?
We both came to a unanimous decision that it was the PS2.
You and your fucking PS2s, all right? Not all of us lived in...
Yeah, you know what, Steve? We did fuck our PS2s. Seth, back me up.
I don't know about you, but I hid weed in mine.
Well, there you are. You've said it. You've said the W word. You're going to jail. I'll be damned if I'm on the same studio as a plant smoker.
All right, now for Patrick's turn to be on the spot.
Oh boy.
Patrick, tell me about the Marvels.
Oh shit, I completely... You know what, my brain is already repressed that I saw that film within a week. I saw it Thursday last week. I'll be honest. I don't remember much from Marvels.
So I undersold it. Or oversold it, maybe. It was weird in that I went along to it, and there were bits of it which I think you talked to. There were like little bits of it. You're like, oh yeah, that was okay, but large chunks of it between were just like, what are we like? I don't know if Samuel L. Jackson's script was just be sassy and that was it, and then they just let him improv the entire film. But like, what the fuck? Maybe I'm missing the homework. I heard it's like based on 3 different series or something. There's like 16 hours of content to be like fully caught up as to what the events of that film are. But and none of them really mattered because I kind of kept up with what was going on in the movie.
Well, you have to watch. Was it WandaVision, the Miss Marvel movie, and then the TV show with the kid?
Yeah, Miss Marvel was the TV show, and then Captain Marvel was the movie.
Oh yeah, man. So hang on, how many of these characters are called Marvel in the movie?
That's one of the jokes.
Okay.
Steven, to get you a little up to pace, you don't really need to watch those because the important stuff from Captain Marvel they recap in this movie for you, and then nothing from the other 2 shows matters besides the 2 super powered people.
Look, this may shock and surprise you, Seth, but I wasn't planning on watching it. And because the person that I'm scabbing Disney Plus off no longer paying for Disney Plus, I will probably never interact with anything Disney related again, except for Family Guy. Don't forget Family Guy is owned by Disney.
Can I just drop a this will be a spoiler, I guess, but I need to get it off my chest. We good with a spoiler warning and one spoiler for the Marvels. I do want to move on, but there's just one bit that stuck out.
Yeah, let's just do the quick spoiler and then move on.
Yeah, cool. So, man, we've already blown out the schedule. This has gone horribly wrong. So, spoiler warning. I'll be talking about literally the end of the film. I just I find it unendingly funny when films go, what if we have the main character make this big sacrifice to do this thing that they always talked about doing, and it's what the bad guy wanted all along, and it seemed like it made zero meaningful difference to the main character. And what I mean by that with Captain Marvel, with the Marvels, is that the whole motivation for the bad guy existing is our son is dying, we want to live. Fair enough, we've all been there, looking at you, climate change. And so the whole thing was,
Jesus,
we need to get an exorbitant amount of power to restart the sun. And then halfway through the film, someone's like, hey, Captain Marvel, you could just go restart the sun if you wanted. And she's like, no.
Yeah.
Why would I do that? And then at the end, the bad guy just fucking dies. And then Captain Marvel's like, maybe I will just go restart the sun. And then does it.
And then we're supposed to clap.
Yeah, exactly. And we're supposed to clap. And it's like, that... You're a being of crazy high amounts of power. It seems like that literally was like meaningless to you in terms of the amount of effort it took. You just specifically chose not to do that. Just to be a dick for, I guess, years?
to launchpad off that, the entire crux of the villain's motivation is, the sun is dying, but so is the planet. They're out of resources, they're out of water, and it's all Captain Marvel's fault because she came in and ruined their AI overlord. And then she watched as they went into civil war, destroyed themselves, and she just felt guilty about it for 30 years.
Yeah. And so at the end of it, the bad guy dies, not realizing that Captain Marvel was going to go help them. Captain Marvel at the end is like, maybe I should save these people. And then just goes like kickstarts the sun for fun and everyone claps. And it's like, no, we just saw the bad guy film for like 2 hours.
Maybe Captain Marvel is the bad guy. Is that the lesson?
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's so much more that I could say about it. I'm not going to bother, but
It's like, it's very mid until they hit the last act, and they're like, okay, so let's actually explain what's going on with this villain's motivation. And then you're like, oh, Captain Marvel's just a bitch.
And and then right at the end, they send, I've already forgotten her name because I have no idea what she's from, but they send one of them through this like space-time rift, and she's like, I can only close it from the other side. And the other two just nod. None of them are like, can you try closing it from this side? It seems like you could just give it a go, and if it doesn't work, then you try closing it from the other side. Instead, she's like, no, gotta sacrifice myself, you know how it is, and then just flies into a rift.
Yeah. Also, a little minor thing that a lot of people that I worked with found this really funny is when, I think it was Captain Marvel was unconscious, or no, I think it was Monica was unconscious outside. So one of them goes and flies out to go grab the other one, but then you get Kamala's big CG hand grabbing both of them to pull them back in. It's like, what was the point of the first person flying out? Kamala would have just grabbed them.
Yeah.
So you're saying this won't make top 10 films of all time?
Oh, it's definitely one of the films of all time. It's just, I don't know, if you want to see a summary of most of the pain points I have, okay, so pitch meeting, great YouTube channel. Pitch meeting sort of goes off a little bit on it. We're talking about how forgettable the villain is and a few other bits and pieces. Very funny. Other than the whole could just go kickstart the sun, just didn't for 30 years to be a dick. A lot of the issues are summarized in that vid pretty well. Would highly recommend, was quite funny. Anyway, we've talked about this for already longer than I wanted to, but yeah, what a meme of a film. Can't wait for the next one.
On the scale of Morbius to Avatar: The Way of the Water, what is it?
I don't know if Avatar: The Way of the Water is supposed to be the high end of that scale or not. It's a pretty good film, I guess. Haven't seen Morbius. The one question that I have outstanding, which I think I know the answer to, is that I'm pretty sure it was better than Ant-Man 3, but I can't say that with 100% confidence.
Ooh. I don't know, you were pretty full of vitriol for Ant-Man 3 last week when you just mildly brought it up.
I think the difference with Ant-Man 3 is that because it takes place in some quantum realm, blah, 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 that it's even less significant. Like, at least Captain Marvel going and kickstarting a sun was meaningfully impactful to someone.
A planet we'll never hear about ever again.
Anyway, final thoughts from you, I guess both of you, mostly you, Saif, on this spotlight, which is now a fucking 10-minute tangent. Awesome.
I had fun doing this. I like putting you guys on the spot before Around the Lounge.
I don't
like the sudden change up to the schedule on our 100th episode. That's not how this is supposed to go.
But it wouldn't have been as fun if I let you have the heads up that it was going to happen. Your genuine shock at remembering you watched the Marvels will live on in infamy.
Yeah, like I was thinking about what have I done this week. The Marvels was not part of what I did. It just didn't come up at all. Just, good times. Steve, you weren't here last week. I see. The weird part was we only realized that after we recorded. We just assumed you were really quiet that week.
Yeah, you probably finished recording and you're like, wow, I didn't laugh a single time that episode. I've had a really shit evening. I wish someone wished me a great Stevening. That's probably what you all said.
No, actually, you know what it was? It was when we finished recording episode 99. There was an awkward pause of about 3 seconds, and then we realized, oh shit, Steve's not here to say happy birthday to something. And so then Sev had to like just pull out of his ass a happy birthday, which was it happy birthday, Steve?
No, it was more significant than that. It was happy birthday to Sonic 06.
No, that's not significant at all. What a huge fumble of the bag, some might say.
I sometimes confuse two things that just irritate me, you know how it is.
But yeah, what tipped me off that Steven was a distinct lack of honk shoes.
Sorry, you must have been reading a list.
We were actually.
Huge moment. I'm shocked.
It's almost like he was there in the walls the whole time. No, but where were you? What'd you get up to?
I was actually in a wedding for Perth. But no, it's story
Wait,
time.
Perth got married?
Yeah, they got married to a bunch of minerals in the bunch of the ground because they're fucking weirdos over there. But that's not the purpose of the
That's
story.
gonna be a messy divorce once some people with mining trucks show up. Anyway.
So like we're there on because the couple rented like an Airbnb and the bridesmaids and partners of the bridesmaid because I was there it's one of my girlfriend's friends, so I'm like just literally a hangers on type of thing, and they're all the bridesmaids are getting ready, and I'm like, all right, I'm playing my Switch, and like one of the other bridesmaids has like a 2-year-old son, and he's like, oh hey, what are you playing? And I'm like Paper Mario, and I'm like, and he's like, what's that? And I tell him, and he's like, that sounds boring. What else you got? And I'm like, oh, I got Mario Kart. He's like, nah, I don't like Mario Kart. I'm really good at it. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, leave me alone.
Wait,
dumb
you
kid.
don't like it, but you're very good at it.
It's a 2-year-old kid punches
Oh,
through
I
the
thought
head.
you meant the 2-year-old kid's dad.
Oh, no.
No. That's what Steve said to the 2-year-old.
No, so then the 2-year-old said that. And then I'm like, you know what? Let's do some bonding thing.
Play
There's no
Fortnite.
need for me to be rude to this kid. So I hand him my carry case to my Switch, and it's got all my games in it. And I'm like, go through this, like, let's play a game. And he's like, he picks out one of the cartridges. And he's
Wait. Did he lick any of them?
No, he didn't. I was watching him.
Did you tell him about the anti-lick coating?
I should have, but you know when you it's like 2-year-old, he's like a little bit more sentient than what you expect. So you tell him something, and he just might do something like pants on head ridiculous. Like if I told him to lick a cartridge, he might have just like eaten it or something.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I didn't want to do any of that.
Yeah, that's how I lost Lego City Undercover, the cartridge. It was me. I'm the one that ate it.
Yeah, but anyway, so and the kid like picks out the cartridge. He's like, oh, I don't want to play this game. And he just like throws it on the ground.
Oh no.
Then you punted him like a football, right?
Yeah. You gave him the Hey Arnold treatment.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, let's not put it on the ground. Let's not do this. And he's like, and he just like starts laughing, and then like he knows it's getting a reaction out of me, so he just pulls the next cartridge. There's like 8 cartridges in this thing, and he pulls it out, and I'm like, yeah, okay, stop mucking around, kid. And then he pulls all of them out at once, just throws them on the ground, and I'm like, holy shit. So I gave him a look, and then he left me alone. But I was not in the same room with that kid for the rest of the weekend, for both of our sakes.
Did you have to go to the kid's mum and then complain that the kid was bullying you?
Well, no. So the kid's mum was a bridesmaid, heavily pregnant, as in her due date was the day after, or 2 days after the wedding. So I get the feeling she may have been a little bit stressed out. And the kid's dad, her husband, was best man. So it was one of those things is like, everyone's stressing out. There's no need for me to be like, you know what, your kid's been a fuckhead.
You know what I've heard de-stresses people? The sweet taste of a Nintendo Switch cartridge.
No, what I should have done, because the Airbnb place we were staying had a pool, so what I should have done is just left the gate open and nature would have sorted him out.
Yeah, just let nature take its course.
Hey kid, there's Roblox in the pool.
Hey kid, there's a Minecraft in the pool. The kid's dumb enough to yeah, no, but no, seriously, we hate kids here on the Fast Travel Lounge. No screen time for kids.
I'm glad none of us were kids when we were younger.
Not that kid.
Not that kid. Yuck. Yeah, no, that's my Perth story. God,
Man,
I'm anxious thinking about it.
Yeah, I know. I would be anxious too. I can't believe that a kid methodically taking Switch cartridges out and throwing them on the ground is the like second most stressful thing could have done on a Wednesday night recording with the boys.
What's the first most?
Well, recording with the boy, obviously. Just recording, like trying to be funny, trying to like, you know, give and take.
What if one of the boys is a 2-year-old? You reckon a 2-year-old would be good on a podcast?
They'd be better than you.
Well, that's just rude, Saif.
I'm getting the headphone mic out here.
At least them having bad audio is excusable.
I'm so sorry. It's been 100 episodes. He never normally does this. He's normally a good kid. Hey, Saif. There's audio editing equipment in the pool. Go get it, boy.
No, I'm just going to throw Steven's audio in there and let it sort itself out.
Let nature take its course.
If it comes back mooing, it's its own fault.
mooing. It's a sea cow now.
What else did you get up to? Anything else to share with the pod when we eventually go through whatever weird cryptic show and tell it is that we do every week on this show?
Yeah, I thought you were actually going to Perth to go play a Pokemon VGC thing. Like, the wedding was just an excuse.
Well, there wasn't we arrived on a Saturday and there was an event happening on that Saturday and I could have gone, but timelines didn't it. And Perth's one of those cities that it's if you don't have a car, it's too bad. Enjoy walking. There's 2 trains and sorry, you missed it. See you in 12 hours.
Actually, sorry. I just have to jump in on that because I had that feeling. So where we went to watch the Marvels is, as I found out.
Oh, now all the memories of the Marvels are flooding back.
No. It's just the one PTSD trip triggered by Steve there. As I found out, the cinema where I went and saw that is almost exactly 6 kilometers from my house because when I left the cinema, the next bus was in 30 minutes and I'm like, fuck it, I'll just walk. And genuinely the same enjoyment. Just walking for 6 kilometers as I did watching the film. Anyway, continue, Steve. It's just suddenly reminded that I'd also mentally repressed the fact that I walked for 80 minutes to get home. Actually, it wasn't even 80, it was an hour.
Yeah, 6Ks, yeah, probably roughly about that. But holy shit, man, you're walking for an hour to sit down for 2 hours and you're walking again. I guess you can justify yourself.
I Ubered there. I just couldn't be bothered Ubering back because expenny. And so I was like, all right, do I just kill time for 30 minutes or walk? And
yeah, no, good walk, good podcast. Just can't be alone with your thoughts.
Get those steps in.
Yeah, you gotta get those steps in. 10,000 steps.
That's straight to the pool, straight to the open gate pool. Just step, and then
it's almost September.
True. I guess he's not wrong.
Yeah, but no, that's all I've got to report on. I think there is a Perth Pokemon event, but it's in February, I think, and I do not think I will be going because flights to Perth are a scam. $1,200.
Oh, well, actually, walk September.
Hang on. I think it's only about 8,000 kilometers.
What would you do September and February?
No, but if I do it all in advance, then I don't have to do it in September.
No, you still got to do it in September. You don't get credit.
You get your entire month's worth of walking done just ahead of time.
An entire year's worth of walking. And there's a lot of just in the middle of Perth when there's just in the middle of Australia where there's just nothing.
Uninhabitable.
But not unpodcastable.
You could record in the outback. I see. I see. But yeah, that's the Perth roundup. The report on the ground.
I see. Any games?
Oh, video games?
I mean, your words, but yes.
I mean, if we're just going to go around a lounge like this.
Yeah, so I've been playing Paper Mario 64 because naturally the Super Mario RPG came out and it reminded me of another good RPG that came out a few years after. So naturally I'm playing that. Remember, old game good.
True. They didn't release any bad games in the before time. Cool. Anything else?
No, I don't think so. Still doing the Pokemon thing. Heading to Brisbane on the weekend to play Pokemon. Can't believe I paid about, I think it was $500 for flights, $200 for accommodation just so I get bottomed. But we'll see what happens.
Nice. What about you? What about you, Saif? What have you been up to?
So you know what's better than old game? Even older game.
I was gonna guess even older game. Yeah, nice.
So the Super Mario RPG remake just came out recently. So I played the Super Mario RPG on the SNES. Just to get a feel of how the game was before playing the remake.
I know we have problems with playing new release games here on the pod, but I feel like you're just walking the line to be a dick at this point.
I am, in a sense, but I've been wanting to play the original version for so long that I was like, I did want to do it before the remake came out, but then a few things got in the way, so I ended up playing it the day before, and then just playing it through the weekend. But no, I'm glad I played the original version.
Why don't you just play the remake? What a fucking weirdo.
And you get to and you get to send cryptic tweets /X's I'm playing Super Mario RPG right now. Everyone's like, how? It's a day early.
Exactly. And then when it actually came out, I had to start rebranding it all as saying, I'm playing Super Mario RPG, the old one. Or Super Mario RPG, classic.
Classic. Retro.
I think I even used retro at one point, yes. And to answer your question, Stephen, mostly because I just wanted to play the original for so long that I was just like, I'll get it out of the way so that way I know what the differences are between the original and the remake.
From what I've been hearing, there are no differences. But whatever, shoot your shot, man.
There's quality of life stuff.
Oh, and what have you been up to, Pat?
Good question. So, I have
Watch the Marvels.
I've got 3 things. I've watched the Marvels, which I've already spoken about. Will not touch again. Done. Finito. I watched The Creator, actually. It was a film that I really wanted to watch before I went to Japan. It came out a few weeks ago now. I think it was the week before I went to Japan. I just didn't have time to watch it beforehand, but looked really interesting. Very kind of sci-fi, future-y. Wanted to watch it just on a whim. Wanted to see if it was still on at cinemas, and the cinema, not the one that I saw the Marvels at, because that
one was cursed.
Well, okay, yeah, but it's also just in an area of town that's just chronically busy, so I prefer not to be there, and I'd have to pay for parking, all the other bullshit. Anyway, the cinema where I normally go and watch films, they were like, hey, yeah, we have a showing. It's only on at 11:45 a.m. on Sunday morning. And I'm like, I'm there. I'll be down. So
What a shit time. Holy fucking hell.
I mean, there are better times, but it's also like it's so clearly at the end of its film run that I was just kind of like, I was like, if I'm going to see it in cinemas, I might as well just see it in cinemas. So saw that, and perhaps more exciting, but slightly less new releasey, I picked up an Asus ROG Ally in, according to Saif, early Cyber Monday sales.
Huge.
So there's not a huge amount to talk about with it because I've only really had it for about 36 hours, but if we have some time, which given we've already tangented for about 20 minutes, we probably don't, but I might share a couple thoughts. In case I don't get to that, I'll just share them now. It runs Monster Hunter Rise better than my old computer, which is now dead. I'm sure I've talked about how it was dying. It is now confirmed dead. I've removed the graphics card, the only thing valuable left in that machine. And it is really funny because all of the time that I've played Monster Hunter Rise, I've been playing... I have it on the Switch as well, but once it got ported to PC, I don't think I've booted the Switch version since, and so I played Sunbreak and everything on the PC as well. For whatever reason, there was always like it was around a half-second delay on inputs in the overworld, just like talking to NPCs and navigating menus and stuff. And so to not have that feels like a completely different game. It's just the muscle memory of just you press a button and then your brain just has this delay of waiting for something to happen as a result of you pressing it, and then suddenly it's like instant, and you're like, oh, this is crisp, this is fresh.
How the fuck did you play a game like Monster Hunter with like input delay?
No, so it's just the overworld. So like actually hunting monsters, it's fine.
Oh, it's just the overworld. Oh, okay, sorry.
It was really weird. It was like it's like you talk to, say, the smithy, and then the little armory screen pops up. That takes like half a second. You talk to the quest lady, quests pop up after like half a second. But you go and you press the attack button, attack happens instantly. So I don't know what it was, never really bothered trying to figure out, to be honest, because it wasn't that detrimental to gameplay, but it's just really interesting that now that I have a ROG that I'm playing it on, that it just runs it better than my, at least, as of, I guess, 8 years ago when I put the new graphics card into it, new quote-unquote gaming PC, even though at that point stuff in it was still like already 5 years old. Anyway, I have a few other things to say about the ROG, but if I don't get to them, that's the main piece out of the way. Why don't we move on to some Steam charts? That's right, I have a 100th episode Steam Charts special.
Ooh, is it the 100 players?
Yeah, actually, that would have been so much better, man. Now, if we could go back in time, I'd do your thing, because that's so much better than my thing. My thing has no relevance to it being 100, but finding games with 100 players would have been amazing. I'm actually really sad that I didn't think of that. Fuck. Anyway, what I did think of, so Steve, you weren't here last week, so Saif is already ahead of you by a couple points in the leaderboards, but I'm backing you. Episode 100, you can turn it around. There's still time. So before me, I have two games, two collections, if you will. I have in my left hand, I have the Mass Effect Legendary collection, and in my right, I've got the Halo Master Chief collection.
Ooh!
And so I will tell you on the outset, none of them have more than 5,000 players as of an hour ago. Which, can I actually get a refresh here? Ooh, it is going to refresh to 18 minutes ago rather than an hour ago, so let's just refresh both of those. Yeah, so, oh man, I think they're even closer now. None of them have more than 5,000 players, so if you say more than 5,000, I will laugh at you. But all I want to know, which one's higher? Because they are surprisingly close for how different an audience I assume is playing each of these games.
Wait, why did we need to know neither of them were over 5,000 if we were just going to guess which one is higher?
Good question. That will come up in part 2 of the game, but I'll restate that anyway. I kind of fucked up the order of information I'm supposed to give out, but yeah. Which one's higher? Mass Effect Legendary Edition or the Halo Master Chief Collection?
Surely it's Halo the Master Chief Collection. That game gets fucking, well, not gangbuster numbers, but higher than what it should have for a game that's a bajillion years old.
On Steam, though?
Yes. Yep.
Very clearly an Xbox sort of.
Yep. Like the feeling the community like probably just has it there.
You probably have Game Pass in there as well.
Yeah, you made me think a little more about this because, yeah, I don't think the Steam version has crossplay with consoles and Microsoft Store people, which would gut it.
Yeah, but I get the feeling if you love that game so much, you'd be playing it. Like, you wouldn't want a game... If you're playing a multiplayer game as old as the Halo Master Chief Collection, like, you're not playing it on Game Pass because you probably don't have Game Pass because you're playing, like, one game.
So your vote, Steve, is Halo the Master Chief Collection. I'm sorry, did you just fucking talk French to me?
See.
That's it. Animal noises.
Oh no, he's gonna make me speak French.
Such a good clap back, actually.
I think it's... No, I'm going to go with Steven. I think it's Master Chief Collection.
Ooh, interesting. You're both correct. The totals... Actually, yeah, no, I will give you the totals. I genuinely do not know why I said neither of them have more than 5,000. It's completely irrelevant. The Master Chief Collection, as of 20 minutes ago, 2,552 people were playing. And Mass Effect Legendary Edition, 1,885. So let's have them join forces, right? This is part 2 now. Let's have them team up. We've got Master Chief and Commander Shepard just kicking back with their respective, I guess, armies of people playing. So let's ballpark it at, what's that, 1,900, and let's do some rounding, 2,600, so 4,500 combined. That seems right. We have 4,500 people playing. How many armies, and this one is a number guess, how many armies of Master Chief and Mass Effect would it take to bring down the wallpaper engine?
Ooh.
The fuck kind of question is this?
4,500.
So, the wallpaper engine has more than 4,500 people playing.
Yeah. I know it's vastly more.
We have the final boss.
I think it's around 100 times more.
I was going to say that because of the episode title, but now I'm going to say like 200,000 actually, because that's double 100,000.
So you think they need to total 200,000 soldiers?
Hang on. Now, you've lost me. This is confusing.
Yeah. So we have an army of 4,500. Yeah.
Yep.
And we have some final boss number that is wallpaper engine.
Okay.
How many armies does it take to bring down wallpaper? Because, I mean, 100 is... Like, if you're saying 100, you're saying that you need 100 times 4,500.
Yeah, 450,000.
Okay, I'm just making sure that you're aware of what that number... Okay, yeah, cool. If that's your vote, sweet, awesome. I just want to make sure that everyone's on the same page with the scoring. Or, alternatively, if you want to dumb it down, how many people do you think are currently playing Wallpaper Engine?
Yeah, I know, that's literally your question. Yeah, you're just phrasing it in a fucking dumb way.
I think he's phrasing it in a fun way.
It's about the army, Stephen.
What do I look like, some kind of mathematician?
The 100-year war between the alternative futures of Mass Effect and Master Chief. Trying to bring down wallpaper, Stephen, with their hands. And Garrus is just watching.
Oh, the needle rifle. What a shit weapon. Needle is where it's at. A million, I guess. So...
A million armies.
No, 100. It'd be, 100, 250,000. Let's go 200. 200 armies.
So we have... Wait, Seth, what was your score?
I said 100 armies, so about 450,000.
Okay, and Steven says 200. He's just doubling Seth.
Yeah.
So you think there are 900,000 people playing Wallpaper Engine right now?
Yes. Well, playing is a strong word. They've got it on in the background.
Yeah, me.
It's true.
Wait, do I have... No, I don't have it on at the moment. I got my default wallpaper on, so yeah, I'm not in that. I'm not getting killed by Master Chief.
Okay, so I'm now faced with a dilemma because you are both so absurdly wrong. But the thing is, now if I go by the question, which army brings down Wallpaper Engine, and technically Steve is right, because if you have
900,000 people.
You're going to take it
Kill
down.
Wallpaper Engine.
All right, Price is Right
a
rules,
lot
baby.
quicker than 450. So I think I have to give it to him. But no, there's only 67,000. Nice, 69,000
nice.
people playing Wallpaper Engine right
Also,
now.
we both would have beaten Wallpaper Engine.
Yeah, you both would have. It's just Steve brought like Steve gave everyone in his army like a gun as well for some reason.
I brought the nuclear bomb to Vietnam.
Just so we're all clear on numbers here. At any one time in the course of Wallpaper Engine's history, the all-time peak is 150k.
Ah.
And both of you, on a whim, were like, I reckon at least 450,000 people are playing this right now.
See, I thought it might have been... I started doubting myself. I was going to ask if I could rechange my number, but I was going to bring it down to like 250,000. So I still would have been way over the all-time peak.
Okay, so flip side, there are 70,000 people playing Wallpaper Engine right now. How many does it take to kill Stephen's army? That's right, do math, dance for me, monkeys. No, that Steamcharts game was way more math than I thought it would. I was just expecting like a funny haha number, and it's like, shit, I gotta pull out a calculator because someone throws out that, yeah, there's 450,000 people possibly playing fucking Wallpaper Engine. I mean, I know that basically this entire episode has just been me talking, but I feel like of what we've all been doing this week, the creator is possibly the most recent thing, so maybe I just talk about that for a quick sec. Funnily enough, sort of leads off the back of Mass Effect anyway, in that it's got a sort of Mass Effect-y sort of theme. So I'll do the old shit sandwich. I ultimately settle on it is a film worth watching. It is a film that is very hard to watch if you are someone who can't suspend disbelief about plot, which is where almost all of my criticisms lie. But in terms of visual effects and cinematography, excellent film. Very, very well done. In terms of just the setting, like how they did kind of like a futuristic-y Earth, also excellent. What is it at its core? It's about it's kind of hard to boil it down as to like what it's really about. It's basically humans versus AI, but it's a little more nuanced in that, in context, and they give you all this context in like the first like minute of the film, so this is definitely not spoiler. People create AIs, you know, as people do.
That's what happens.
Yep, that do be how AIs work. They then become more and more powerful, get given more and more control, and then one thing leads to another, bada bing, bada boom, whoopsie, nuclear bomb goes off in Los Angeles, kills 1 million people.
That's a big whoopsie.
And yeah. And so AI is now banned in the West, but AI is not banned in what they call New Asia, which is basically just Asia. And based on the languages they speak, it's about 3 countries in Asia where AI is not banned, and they live together. They coexist. AI and people coexist. America wants to wipe AI out, so they just kind of go and war on AI in New Asia. It's hard not to think of like geopolitical analogies while watching this, with America just being like, yeah, we have a $1 trillion space station that can just fire missiles at basically any target and just extinguish life in like a kilometer radius around it. And they just go and do that to what I assume in this universe are sovereign foreign nations. Anyway, so the story centers around you follow this character. This character is tasked with trying to find what they call AI God. He thinks it's... He gets close to someone who might know who it is. One thing leads to another. Like, they fall in love.
Tale as old as time.
Yeah, exactly. All that sort of thing. Real, like, Dances with Wolves kind of thing.
Haven't seen that movie. Don't get that reference.
Don't worry about it.
Inside you, there are 2 wolves.
Yeah.
One is gay. The second is gay. You are gay. I'm assuming that's what that movie is. I haven't seen it.
I mean, you're not wrong. I also haven't seen that movie and just making assumptions.
Anyway, so really early on, and it's also in all the trailers again, gets close with someone, falls in love with them, they die, and so fast forward, I think it's like 5 years. Yeah, fast forward 5 years, he gets pulled back in for one more mission.
Just one more job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just one more job. And so he has to go back and go to the same place where his I don't know if it was like actually wife or just like partner, but significant other fucking died. And so because that's where there's this big AI weapon that's being built. And so they go there and they're stalking through this this big facility or whatever, and they get through this giant, this is clearly where the weapon is kept, vault. And they break into the vault, and it's a kid. It's like a little AI kid, a little AI 5-year-old.
Oh no, that's the worst type of AI. They take your switches out of the cases and then throw them on the ground.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, exactly. And they smile while they do it.
Isn't that
too.
the ending of Mass Effect?
Yeah, that's why I say it's got a lot of parallels to Mass Effect. Actually, it's really interesting. And so then the whole story is about like basically following the main character trying to unravel the sort of mysteries around why this kid is the AI weapon, what happened to his significant other, like what's the ramifications of sort of America versus the East, or like technically like the West versus the East, but it's so clearly just America as the West. Like Europe, I assume is extinct because there's zero mention of like Europe just being a place.
France is probably in charge.
So that's the kind of broad stroke story. The plot is just like it's ass. It is so it's really hard because it's one of those films where so many of the plot problems are just little moments that build up where it's like that was a dumb decision or a character shouldn't behave like that. And so you end up finding that the plot is propelled off of the back of like
everyone is a stupid idiot.
It's not necessarily they're stupid idiots. It's just that it doesn't make sense. So I'll give you an example, right? The getting pulled back in for one more job sort of thing, right? The people that do that, I'm going to try and do this in a spoiler-free way. The people that pull him back in for one more job are the people who knew about the operation. So I should have said, when his significant other got killed, it was by an American missile strike, by the giant space station missile strike. So effectively, kind of a team kill, but she was also sort of working for the enemy because he was trying to get close to her to see if she knew where AI God was. So sort of a team kill, which is why he's pissed at America, but she was sort of the enemy, so you sort of see how it goes. So when he gets pulled back in for one more job, all the people that do that were people that knew about the operation the night that she died. And then at about the like halfway to 2/3 mark, you get given some information that, oh no, right before that operation happened, this piece of information came out that completely changes like the outlook as to like why decisions were made. But for that to happen, the people that are pulling him back in for one more job have to know about that information, which if they do, they would never try and pull him back in for one more job. And so you then get this weird chain link of like events where it's like, okay, so the people that pull him back in for one more job do it even though we find out that with information that they knew later on in the film, they never would have. And it's weird. It's like, why would you do that? Or another one, which is not spoilery at all. It's just kind of like, it's like a tiny beat in the plot. The main character makes it pretty clear he doesn't give a shit about AI, right? Like he as part of his cleanup job in LA, because he's like cleaning up the bomb site, he accidentally reactivates an AI that's just in the bomb site. And so it starts begging for its life, you know how it is. And he basically just clips one of the power cords, whatever, and it's fucking dead. And so because it's begging for its life, some random side character who you never see again is like, oh man, it's so human. Like, it's just like us. It's like begging for its life. I can't believe we just killed it. We basically committed murder. And he's like, no, it's just programming. Don't worry about it. AI, like...
It's not real.
Basically they're not real.
They don't feel.
Don't even sweat it. And then within, I don't even know what span of time, but like really early, so that's really early on in the film. And then another also really early on, but after that point in the film, he willingly endangers the lives of like a busload of kids for the sake of an AI.
Based.
And it's just like, yeah, okay,
What?
It's like, like high five, we hate kids, that's fine. But it's just like...
We hate AI more.
I don't know. AI serves a purpose.
But it's just one of those annoyances where like it's clearly a decision they've made to make it so that the guy, one of his character things is that he doesn't care about AI. And so it's that like
me watching it would therefore assume he values human life because, why would you not? He values human life at all other stages of the film. Doesn't care about AI. Fine. And then suddenly, to protect an AI, he's like, let's just get this busload of kids, ram it through a border patrol station, and have a bunch of dudes with automatic rifles just shooting out all the windows of the bus, and by some miracle not killing any of the people on the bus, and then makes like a dumb action movie quip about who had fun, and one of the kids puts up their hand. And it's like, me just watching it is like, I can't let that go. Like, it's so hard for me to enjoy this film because that's such a tone change of what I thought this character was. And it's just those little moments throughout. And then the whole ending, without giving away any spoilers, the entire third act of the film is done because of one stupid decision on the part of one of the antagonists.
It's just like Captain Marvel. The entire movie happens because of one person's bad decisions.
It really is. And it's like, it's frustrating because it's not necessarily that it's bad writing. It's like, because I understand why it is written the way it is to drive the plot the way it does. It's just really hard for me to enjoy a film like that because of the writing. And I don't know if it's because the writing is like quote unquote bad or missing whatever, or if it's just because like every little piece in isolation, right? Like scene by scene, all of it works. It's just when all the scenes are stitched together into a film, it like the plot just falls over.
It kind of makes it sound like it feels contrived that they got there the way they did.
It's not really a contrived thing because it doesn't play to tropes, which I enjoy about it. It does its own thing, which is cool. It's just it chooses to do its own thing at the expense of what would otherwise be the decision that would make sense at the time. Like as an example, you have a giant space station that can shoot missiles at stuff. Yet one of the beats is that you kind of surprise attack one of the New Asia military bases with like ground units, and there's like casualties on both sides and stuff. And it's like, but you have the space station. You've literally put the space station above this base. Why are you using like a tank?
I can just imagine you like getting up halfway through this movie and just like barking at the TV. You seem like you hate it. You did not have a good time.
As I say, scene by scene, I enjoyed all the little bits of it. It's just all the stuff between the scenes. Like you'd see something happen and then you think about the previous scene and you're like, oh, it's like playing a Telltale game. It's like, Patrick will remember this, you know? Overall, I'd still say it's a film worth watching. And if being able to suspend disbelief is something that you can do during movies, which I struggle with, especially if it's a film that I think I really like, because then like one chink in the armor becomes like the whole, like the House of Cards falls down. I'm not saying the movie has to be perfect, but it's just like, for like the plot is not good, right? Saying that up front, plot and story, not good. All of the stuff around the plot, amazing. It's got the same cinematographer as like Dune and shit, so like you know that it's going to look really good.
Read that book recently, big flex.
Nice. It looks really good. Soundtrack's pretty good. There's so many cool ideas that they touch on, which they don't explore any of because of the plot. but like the setting, everything. Oh, it's so good. And it's just like you have 4/5 of what could easily be one of my favorite movies recently / this year, which I know puts it in line with like Across the Spider-Verse and even Puss in Boots, which I know came out last year, but I still consider a really well-rated movie that came out this year. Like Barbie, I really liked. Oppenheimer, I liked. All these sort of like big movies and stuff. I actually have no idea how well it did box office wise, but like I would be willing to put the creator in my like maybe even top 3. Maybe if it's split out by like genre or something, it might do something else. But like it's so close, you know, it's so close, and that's why it's so frustrating that the plot is so ass.
Okay, so I've got the how much a film grossed and its budget. Do you want to know? Do you want to guess?
Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna need a lower and an upper bound though. I'm gonna guess it was like very CGI intensive. So we're gonna guess like 80 mil
as the budget.
That's the budget. Yeah, budget.
Yeah, well, you're fucking spot on for that one. Piece of shit.
Actually.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
I feel some resentment for Steven's Steamcharts results compared to your guess of movie price results.
Yeah, but he got it exactly. All right, so how much do you reckon it grossed then, big guy? And it grossed more than its budget.
Yeah. It sort of would have had to, otherwise it would have been pulled earlier from cinemas playing it. So I'm gonna guess it probably wasn't a box office smasher. So I'm gonna guess it probably sat somewhere around. Like, this is gross, right? Not net.
Yep, gross. Yep.
I'm gonna guess 110 to 120.
Ooh, close, but it was 104. Still very close though. Very impressed. You got the budget right. You were only a couple off. But I guess like as a cinemaphile, like.
So the budget was a flat 80 mil.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Box office 104 mil. There you go. The man's stunned. He's probably got the Wikipedia up now. He's checking. But good on you, bastard.
So overall, if you can suspend disbelief, this would easily be like a 9 out of 10 film for me. But because I personally just fucking struggle with doing that, it's like a 6.5. Like, it's like I'd still recommend you go and watch it. It's just, you come out, you come out with like the whole ending sequence is like, again, I guess kind of like the end of the Marvels of like, it's this big emotional beat. This is what everything's building up to. Yeah. And you realize like why this is all happening, and you're like, this is fucking stupid. And you're like, I don't want to clap anymore.
You better not be clapping in movie theaters. Do you reckon you would have enjoyed the movie more if you watched it like at home on like a Sunday night or something? Like, you didn't make such an event out of it.
Possible, because the way that I watch movies at home is that it's like the ADHD thing of like, if a movie is really good, I will.
You pull out a home cinema.
No, well, I wish. If a movie is really good, then I'll actively watch it, but otherwise I'll kind of passively watch it on a second screen and do other stuff.
Ah, huge.
There are tons of things that have grabbed my attention enough that I cannot do something on a second monitor. I'm just gripped by it. I don't know where that would sit in this for me. I think the cinematography would grip me into watching it, and I probably would end up actively watching good chunks of it. But I think I'd still have the same issues with it because it's all plot, writing, story, character stuff.
Yeah.
If it was like, oh yeah, it's a fantastic film, it just looks like shit, then okay, it looks like shit, boo-hoo. But like, all the other pieces are there, right? And then you just don't have to pay as much attention to watching it. And I can't do that the other way, where like all the stuff you look at's great, you just have to turn your ears off for a bit. Anyway, that's a 17-minute review of The Creator, which I really was hoping to keep to closer to 10, so move on.
Good movie.
It is what it is. It is. It's like, it's
not a great movie.
It's one of those things of like, I think I did this with Legends Arceus as well, where I really liked so much of Legends Arceus that the bits that I don't like really frustrate me because they seem avoidable. It seems like, yeah, it's just like, it's sad that you got so close and you just sort of fell at the final hurdle sort of thing. And that's where I put The Creator as well.
You hadn't really sold this movie on me. But anyway, that's fine. Maybe next time.
I mean, I to be honest, you don't really strike me as someone that would go and watch a bunch of sci-fis anyway.
I'm not a big movie guy. Maybe my attention span is rattled.
I hear you. What if I put Family Guy funniest moments on one corner and Subway Surfers on the other corner? Are we in? Are we talking?
Can I get some jingling keys in there?
Yeah. Can I play on my phone at the same time? Like,
yes, you can.
Cool. And I'll jiggle my leg as well. So someone on the other side of the cinema comes over and tells me shut the fuck up.
When I get bored, can I go up to the person next to me and ask if they have any games on their phone?
Oh my god!
And I want someone live reacting as well.
I've now heard the most degenerate thing you can do in a movie theater.
Yeah. Okay, let's not think of that anymore.
Just imagine before we give Patrick an aneurysm.
Imagine just watching a movie and some guy comes up to you, "Hey man, this movie's boring. You got any games on your phone?"
You know what's even funnier? It was me and 4 people watching The Creator in a like, it wasn't a big cinema. It's like, I don't know, maybe like 100 something seats. Actually, maybe 100 might be a bit high. It wouldn't be more than 100 seats, but the fact that there's only 4 of us, we were kind of spread out. Every person had like a different row in the middle. So the thing is, if I was at the back and I saw someone like head jumps up in front of the screen, shuffles to the side, comes around, and then like, I just assume they're leaving out the doors behind or whatever, and then I get tapped on the shoulder where I know no one is sitting, and it's that guy, and it's like, hey man, do you have any games on your phone? It's like, I'll be honest, I think I just hand him my phone.
He actually goes walkies and gets you some Monster Hunter nail parts.
I just don't know what I'd do in that situation.
So I'm going to make up a guy, and by make up a guy, I mean I'm going to put some blame on Steven and just assume something for him. I assume he takes his Switch wherever he goes, so he would have his Switch in the cinema with him.
Please don't do that.
Do you have your Switch review in the cinema, Steven?
No. Is it a Pokemon tournament?
But off that, Seth. Someone comes up to you, asks if you have games on your phone. Do you have more or less fear when someone comes up to you and asks if they can lick your Switch cartridge?
Oh.
Hey man, you got any Switch cartridges on your phone?
Hey man, I'm starving. Do you have a Switch cartridge?
It's like a bucket of popcorn, but it's just Switch cartridges.
I'm debating on if I'm more embarrassed by saying I don't have any Switch cartridges on me, or if I'm embarrassed by the small amount of games I have on my phone.
What games do you have on your phone right now?
Shit, I don't
Gun
know,
to your head,
actually.
you have to pull up a game.
Give me a second.
I play games on my phone.
Genshin Impact, betcha.
No, I don't have Genshin on my phone.
Got it on his PS.
I have Ever Crisis. I have basically every Final Fantasy game. I have the Nier game that came out. I have Monster Hunter now.
The guy's just looking for fucking Subway Surfers, and you're like, okay, you want to play on my phone? That's fine. It's just we need to both step outside, and I need to give you like a 20-minute rundown of how to play like any Final Fantasy game on the phone.
Based, I have Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle.
Just uninstall all these games. You haven't played them, obviously.
I don't. You got some Diddle Jump in there.
No, I don't.
Can
you even get Doodle Jump anymore?
Surely you can.
You got some Jetpack Joyride in there.
Nah, I did on my old phone. Remember Flappy Bird?
You got some Angry Birds.
Okay, all right, we're going too far. We're getting off topic, fellas. Back to the lounge. Back to the lounge.
Always have been. Yeah.
Do we have any games on our lounge?
Yeah, it's all Subway Surfers. It's the game of life. Game of life, Seth. Well, we fast travel from the cinema back to the lounge. It's a segue I came up with. Fuck you, Steve.
Nice one.
For Seth to talk about. Thank you. For Seth to talk about Super Mario RPG.
Yeah. So like me and Steven said before, the remake of Super Mario RPG just came out recently.
It's good you got a game on release, Seth. Good for you.
Yeah. Sure. Let's go with that one. So yeah, I played the old version because I've been wanting to play that for so long, and I'm glad I did. It's a very fun and charming game. Oh my god, I just realized it. We've been making jokes about trying to hit children in this entire podcast, and there's actually a bit in this game where Mario tries to hit a child.
What do you mean tries? Does he succeed?
No, he doesn't succeed because a cloud child holds him back.
Not worth it, bro.
Wait, holds the child or holds Mario back?
The cloud child holds Mario back from punching a mushroom child.
You mean like a toad?
Yeah, a toad child. Which, they kind of have it coming.
Steve, we've had 100 episodes. It's been a while since you've tossed out a slur, but just tossing out like mushroom child like that, like toad, sorry, when in fact it's a mushroom child. Getting close to the line, buddy.
There wouldn't be mushroom after I'm done with him. I didn't know what that means. Am I going to jail?
I gotta respect it, but I hate you.
Steven might start recognizing some of the things I talk about because this is, for all intents and purposes, a precursor to Paper Mario.
Oh, right on.
In fact, Paper Mario started off as being a sequel to this game before Square Enix got pulled off it.
I have heard that this and wasn't there this whole, because this game was like co-developed with Square, wasn't it?
It was mostly developed by Square Enix. Like, it's all of the big hit names from Square Enix were on this game.
Okay.
And then Nintendo oversaw it to keep it in line with the Mario brand.
Yeah, and then they had a falling out, and then...
Because of the PlayStation and Final Fantasy moving over to it, yeah. Like, that was a big betrayal.
Anyway. Let's not go into the history of Nintendo.
This is a really, like, kid-friendly, beginner-friendly RPG. Like, you start learning all of the things that an RPG would do very easily in this game, and it's not that hard. It takes, like, just blitzing the story would take, like, 9 to 10 hours.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah. I took about 12 to 15 in my playthrough because I did some side stuff. Like, I went and fought the optional fight, Culex, which is a Final Fantasy-inspired character with a Final Fantasy music track in the background when you fight him. Did some other stuff, got some of the best weapons and equipment you could get in the game because my chat room was backseating me a little bit too hard.
Your chat room? Interesting.
Yeah, because I was streaming this.
I'd love to see you stream, Seth. Where do you stream?
I stream over at www.
Kick.com.
Not that one. Anyway, So something that's kind of neat is that there's no MP for the characters. It's like a shared resource, and as you're playing through the game, you're constantly getting this that shared resource of flower points up just by exploring the world or using specific items to upgrade them. And as you get further into the game, the magic abilities just become really stupidly powerful. The best party in the game is Mario, because he's always got to be in the party. The new character Gino for this game, and having Peach in your party, because Peach's healing abilities are just absolutely busted. She has two of them. One's called Therapy, where she just heals a single target and gets rid of all their status ailments. Or she has Group Hug, where she heals everyone and gets rid of all their status ailments.
I love the idea of therapy. Is just she just sends someone to therapy and they just come back healed.
Maybe that's how it goes. There's a few mistranslations, like there's one ability that's like read an enemy's mind and it gets translated as psychopath.
Oh.
When I think it's like supposed to be more along the lines of psychology or something. But yeah, the script in this game is really fun. There's a lot of fun, charming moments. Like, so in these RPGs, you always have like all the other characters come out from like your main character, and then when you're going back to gameplay, they all go back inside the character. And they do a lot of things to play around with that sort of elements, where it's like, oh, hey, Mario is coming to Princess Peach's castle to deliver her back to the castle, because that's what he does. And then no one, like, you've got Bowser in your party by that point, so he comes out of essentially Mario's pocket, and that's when everyone realizes, oh shit, Bowser's here, what the hell's going on? And there's a little earlier than that, there's a point where the characters are going to go back inside Mario's pocket, and then the kid that Mario almost punches interrupts them, and they all, like, instead of phasing into him, they, like, all butt heads and then fall backwards. So they do a lot of fun visual gags like that, and Mario never actually talks himself in this. He always pantomimes, or if he's trying to tell a story that involves another character, he'll just literally turn into that other character and start pantomiming as them.
Okay, that's pretty funny. I'll give that.
Does he play out his parents' divorce?
Oh.
He plays out your parents' divorce.
Oh,
no. As long as he's not playing out that guy's wife.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun things in this game.
Stunned.
I
just had to
really
suppress the canned laughter.
I really enjoyed it, and honestly, I kind of think this might be my favorite Mario game I've played.
Really?
Oh, huge.
Yeah.
Mario Wonder fans, stay strong. He'll come back. He'll come back around in 30 years' time.
I love platformers, I really do, but I enjoy RPGs more.
Yeah, you're just a sucker for an RPG.
Yeah, so I was kind of predispositioned to have this kind of take. Even compared to like Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, I think this might have been better than that. Yeah, it's been a few days since I thought about it, and I think, yeah, for sure, this is probably at least in my top 3 Mario games.
As someone who frequently listens to music while working, every now and then, not a lot of times, but tracks from the Super Mario RPG will come through. How is the soundtrack overall?
Really good. So like I said, they have all the Square Enix greats. Yoko Shimomura is on this OST, and she always delivers. I don't think she's ever done a bad soundtrack.
That name means nothing to me.
She does a lot of she does basically the entire Kingdom Hearts series.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Simple and clean, eh?
Not that one. She doesn't do the lyrical ones. She does all like the game music, but not the lyric tracks. So like Traverse Town, Twilight Town, the boss fight themes. Something else I think is kind of neat is that they expand the world a little bit by doing Square Enix original characters and races. Like I mentioned the Cloud Child before, that's Mallow. He comes from Nimbus Land, and that's just where cloud people live in the clouds. That's never brought up in the games ever again. Like all the Square Enix original characters get locks out of any future Mario games because it's like a legal framework where they got to get Square Enix's permission to include them.
Or bullshit IP law.
Yeah. And then there's Gino, the character that everyone wanted in Smash and he never got in.
So is Gino actually a good character, or because I'm conscious that like I've seen so much shit about Gino in Smash, but I've never actually is he a playable character? Is he the bad guy? I do not understand for the life of me what his story is, like what the deal is with it.
Okay, so yeah, I was going to get into that. So Gino is a person from the Star Road. Like every Mario game has the Star Road as like the special world. And so they're like, what if we made a character that's like from that area? And so it's like this star spirit that takes over a child's doll. And I really, really like Gino. I understand the appeal of wanting Gino in Smash. They're a very fun character. They're super strong. They've got some pretty neat moves. So yeah, I understand the appeal. And being one of the best party members in the game does make him even that more like interesting to me. Like understanding why so many people like him. And I do like him. I like Gino. They're kind of straight laced, but near the end of the game, there's moments where like this party has been around each other for so long that they're all like kind of enjoying each other's company, and Gino learns how to press Bowser's buttons enough to get Bowser to go along with whatever's being planned, because the second last dungeon is doing Bowser's keep, and Bowser's just along the journey because he wants to get his keep back from the main antagonists that are using it to invade the world. So you take out the threats that are at his area, and he's like, you go to the next dungeon, and he's like, no, I only agreed to come as far as getting my keep back. I'm going to go back. And so Gino just kind of plays him to keep him around, but Bowser's like stuck up and trying to mentally prepare himself in a way is like, no, how do I turn this around to make it seem like it's my idea to stay? So yeah, it's a lot of like little fun interactions like that.
Okay, that does seem pretty cool. I do like to hear that.
I will say though, one more thing. The Yoshi Race minigame in this game is absolute bullshit. I've heard and seen people struggle with the Yoshi Race minigame. I didn't really understand, like, you kind of have to play it yourself. But essentially, the way I can explain it is that you're meant to press A and B, like, rhythmically along to, like, a drum beat that's playing in the background music. The problem is they did it wrong and it's offbeat.
What the fuck?
And I think you're also meant to press the buttons faster than what the drums are playing. So it's just done wrong.
Right, literally, I'm not playing this game anymore. Literally unplayable. Surely they fix that in the remake.
Oh yeah, they fixed it in the remake.
It's weird to hear you literally talk about a game like, oh yeah, the remake just came out, so naturally I played the older game.
I wanted to know what the original was like before going into the remake, because like that Yoshi Race, I wanted to see how the original functioned and why it was so bad before seeing, well, how did they fix it in the remake? Did they even fix it in the remake?
It'd be like BDSP, where it's like, oh, there was a bug in the original? Don't worry, it's a truthful remake. The bug's still here.
Yeah.
Faithful remake. Faithful.
Sorry, biblically accurate remake. There we
go. Be not afraid.
And yeah, I haven't played it yet, but everything I hear about the remake is that it's very faithful, but they've also done a lot of quality of life improvements.
That's what you want. Yeah. You want all the shit things fixed and all the good things to stay. Well, that's the bare minimum for any remake. And I want a remake every 2 years.
And the script is pretty much largely unchanged except for a few minor things like changing some boss names and removing the Bruce Lee reference from the game. But besides those, it's basically the exact same script.
It's the same sentence. He just says, "Who do you think you are, Bruce Lee?" They just got rid of that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely pick up. I'll pick it up.
Yeah, like you don't have to do what I did and play the SNES version. Like just pick up the remake because that's new and it'll get the same thing across.
So are you more or less likely to pick up the remake now that you've played, I guess, the original?
I was always going to pick up the remake anyway. And it's a Nintendo game, so it's going to be full price no matter what.
No, you wait 15 years and it might go up in value. What a fucking scam. Yeah, I'm a bit... and this isn't me getting on my game should be long horse, but like 10 hours. For some reason, I thought this game was like a bit longer. But then at the same time, quality over quantity always. There's no point just pushing it because, yeah, as I'll talk about in Paper Mario, that kind of drags on for a bit.
It's short, but like every chapter is full of things just happening that it feels like really well paced.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, like it doesn't feel rushed, but it doesn't feel like it's dragging. Yeah, okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah, there's like no slow moments or unmemorable moments in the journey. Everything feels like it's just right and memorable.
Okay. Okay, cool. Literally, this remake wasn't announced. I was very close to just emulating it, but it was announced. So I will not be emulating it, Mr. Nintendo, please. If you were to give me a copy, I might talk favorably about it, Mr. Nintendo.
Why would you emulate it when you can get a SNES Mini and have it preloaded on that?
I am not going to do that. If I'm paying for a SNES Mini, I might as well just buy the game. Did you buy a SNES Mini for this, Seth?
Not for this specifically, but I do have a SNES Mini that I've owned since it came out.
How many times have you played it? Is this the first time?
No, a handful of times.
A handful of fucking times, Jesus Christ.
I need to hack into it and put all the SNES games I want to play onto it. So use it as an actual small SNES emulator box.
I'm telling Mr. Nintendo, you're going to jail. You're going to get 10 warning shots in the back.
Really feel like more of a warning on the 10th one.
I was just about to transition into they're going to give me the same amount of bullets in the back as I'm going to score, which is 9 out of 10.
Ah, huge.
Cool. Well, any other thoughts, feelings, interactions, something, or do we give Steve the floor?
We give Steve the floor.
No. One more question. What does this SNES Mini taste like?
I'm not licking it. It's right in front of me, but I'm not going to pick it up and lick it.
Not even for pod tent?
Not even for pod tent, because you asked.
Rude.
Would you do it for a Scooby snack? What games you got on your SNES Mini?
All the games that came with the SNES Mini, including Star Fox 2.
Do you reckon that guy just comes up to Seth in the cinema because he just looks like someone who has a SNES Mini on him?
Do you mind if I plug this SNES Mini into the cinema screen?
Patrick, that's rude and assumptuous. That's like saying that people come up to you and ask if you have games on your PS Vita because you look like someone that has a PS Vita on you at all times.
Wait, do you not?
Not anymore.
I'm in your Vita Pass right now.
Not after the last one got stolen.
By some guy in a cinema.
He said he just wanted to check out Persona 4.
So he just
I
wanted
didn't
to
realize
taste
that
it.
the intro was going to be 2 hours long and he'd still be playing it after the cinema was done.
That's a long fucking game. Yeah, but anyway.
Cool. Well, speaking of long fucking games, Paper Mario 64.
Yeah, Paper Mario 64. That's a video game. That's all I've got to say about that. No, I'm joking. Just fucking with you guys. So Paper Mario.
I was ready to move on to the news.
No, nearly. I'll probably make this a bit quick because this game came out a bit longer. We've been yapping on like fucking yapping. So as sort of Seth alluded to before, this is a semi-sequel to Super Mario RPG, and it's kind of, I didn't know that at the time, but like thinking about it and thinking about what you just discussed, it's like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So this game originally came out for the Nintendo 64, which is why it's called Paper Mario 64, in 2001. So, 2000 in Japan and 2001 in everywhere else.
Yeah, it was a really late game.
Yeah, like I didn't realize how late this game was. Like I do remember playing it when I was a kid and getting stuck on a couple of it. And that was before the time of guides. And I think we rented it, so I had to give it back to the video store. And then I put on a bit of a performance to mum that may not have involved me literally crying to the point I couldn't breathe. And then we got it again, and I think I got to the same part and I was stuck. Thanks, Mum. He's real, recognizes real. But then, so it came out for the Nintendo Switch Online late last year, I think, in that expansion pass thing they do with the Nintendo 64. Late last year, maybe the year before that. Doesn't matter. So ever since it sort of came out on that, I was like, oh, fuck yeah, I want to go back and play Paper Mario, because my memory of this game is that it's very good, it's very funny, and while the combat is simple, it's got some depth to it. And that's kind of true on all fronts. Like, the story's nothing special. It's Bowser's doing some shenanigans and lifts the entire Peach Castle up into the sky. And he's taken all the star spirits hostage to create this thing called a Star Rod. And that's granted him like a wish, and that wish is immortality. And so literally the first battle of this game, you're battling Bowser. And you do like 1 damage to him, and he's got like 100 health, and he's doing like 10 damage to you, and you've only got like 10 health. And you're like, oh, okay, Mr. Bowser, I don't feel so good.
It's funny how much of that story recap is actually very similar to Mario RPG, because...
Is it really? Oh, fucking hell.
Because you start off in Bowser's Keep, you fight Bowser at the very beginning, but he's not invincible this time. He's you have to actually just take him out by taking out part of the environment. But then something takes over the castle, and then you have to go collect 7 star pieces to combine into the Star Road, because that got shattered. That's literally it. Well, all the stars exist in Star Haven, and that's where you end up. You just fucking recycle all the ideas. It's for a different console, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. It's Nintendo this time. So it's good, because Nintendo
But yeah, like throughout the journey to collect those 7-star spirits that Bowser's imprisoned in different areas of the land, you get some like different party characters. You go across different towns and stuff. A couple of puzzles to solve and all that kind of RPG stuff. It's interesting. All the characters, the side characters you get, because it is a turn-based game, as most RPGs are. But in the sense of, while you've got like, and as you were saying with the Super Mario RPG, all your characters exist sort of with you at all times, so you can swap with them at will. But in combat, like, it's only Mario plus one party member, like your active party member, and it costs a turn to swap them. And each of the party members have like abilities that they can use both in combat or in like to help with traversal or puzzle solving across the land. Like, for example, you've got Bombette, which is a bomb that is the designs in this game are fantastic as well. So Bombette is like it's a girl bomb. So obviously she's like pink, but where that, I don't know what it's called, but you know where that string thing on like a bomb in the cartoons and stuff, and you light it?
The fuse. The
fuse, that's the fucking word. Yeah, the fuse, yeah. But Bombette's fuse is like blonde and it's like plaited, like as if it's a ponytail. And I think that's really fucking fantastic design. But yeah, so for example, Bombette can like explode herself to break through a wall. You've got Sushi, which is like one of the cheap, and you can ride his back to go through water. And there's a whole other coast of characters. And all of them are like well written in the sense of you do whatever you need to recruit them, and then they're with you and you don't really hear from them again. Like, they've got like little things that they might interact with in the world, but that's kind of it. But they've all got their personalities and stuff, and I think it's really good.
Yeah, and all of them actually having unique designs instead of just being generic Bob-omb or cheap. It helps them stand out.
Yeah. Like, for example, one of the first party members you get, or the first party member you get, is like a Goomba, but his name's Goombario, and he wears like a blue hat. So it's kind of a bit like, oh, it's Mario, but he's a Goomba, so he's Goombario. And it's pretty funny. I do like that. And that's, the writing in this game is fantastic. Like, it's really clever. It's really smart. In all the towns, they're pretty populated by a bunch of different characters, and they definitely feel all unique. So if you're going to Koopa Town and it's filled with a bunch of Koopas, they're all like talking shit about being a Koopa. Whereas if you're in like the Boo Mansion type of area, they're all like, oh yeah, like we're scared a couple of people these days. That was pretty funny, wasn't it? Ha ha ha. And there is just a lot of life and a lot of soul to all the different areas. And you can really tell that they took their time with designing the environments as well.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you want with an RPG as well, because you don't just want to go into these areas and it's just like, oh, this is just another area to walk through. Having the NPCs being like characters that talk and have unique personalities and funny traits makes it that much better.
Yeah, and like when you pass certain parts of the story, like for when you do a new chapter and you complete the chapter and you're like sort of looking to start the new chapter, like 90% of the NPCs you'll talk to have like changed their dialogue in a way. So for example, in one of the to get to one of the star things, you need to catch a train, but then it's like, oh, but it doesn't tell you to catch a train. You just have to talk to an NPC and it's like, oh, hey, I heard a new train's opened up in the other side of town. Like, maybe I should have a visit one time. Then it's like, all right, well, let's fucking check out this train. It's really cool how it does that kind of stuff. And graphically as well, like what it does. So for those that are unaware, this game looks pretty much like a diorama. You can obviously tell this is, like when we talk about like 2.5D now, like things with like Octopath Traveler, Cassette Beasts as well to a lesser extent as well. There is this sort of, it's a 3D environment, but the character looks 2D and it looks like a diorama. Like even to the sake of when you like open a door and go into a building, the front end of the building sort of like falls down as if like it's the scenes being redone.
Yeah, some of the stages are like a pop-up book.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like that. And that's like fantastic. I really enjoy that. It gives it a lot of life and a lot of character. And it uses like the fact that Mario is made out of paper in quite funny ways. So like when you're at a Toad house and you're having a rest, like there'll be a bed that Mario sleeps in. But instead of like undoing the covers or just sleeping on top of the covers like a normal video game, he sort of just rotates to his side and slides between the covers and the mattress because he's paper. It's fucking fantastic. It's really good. The combat's just generic turn-based kind of thing. I think Super Mario RPG does this as well. So correct me if I'm wrong, Seth. But this has like an action type of system.
Yeah, timed hit mechanic.
Yeah. So like, let's say, for example, an enemy is going to like jump on me. If I press A at the right moment, I'll block and I'll either do like nullify the damage or take a reduced amount of damage. And that kind of really makes you engage with it a lot more. Like you can't just be like, okay, my turn. I press the jump button. Okay.
I don't know if it does it for the attacking, but they do it for the attacking on Mario RPG as well. So like you'll throw a punch, and if you do it on like the release animation of the punch, then you'll do like a follow-up attack that does more damage.
Yeah, it does it on the attacks as well. And it's different. So if you're jumping on someone, you'll have to press the A button the second you hit them, and then it'll do another jump. Or if you're using your hammer, you have to hold back the stick for like a second or two. Or if you're using like one of your partner characters, you might have to like tap the A button really fast. It's pretty unique. Hang on, I don't want to say unique, but like at the time, I remember going, "Oh, this is fucking sick."
Yeah, it keeps the battles more active instead of just picking your command and then waiting for it to go through.
And you can really like change things up. Like there'll be some enemies that might have like 5 HP, but you do one jump does 3 damage. But if you press that button, you're doing 6 damage. So it's like, oh, cool. You can actually, by paying attention, you can just knock this character out in one turn. And I think that's really cool and flash. It is much more engaging.
Yeah, I think every Mario RPG, except for some of the later Paper Mario ones, all keep that sort of mechanic.
Yeah, I don't think the Switch Paper Mario game, the Origami King, I don't think it has that.
Yeah, or Sticker Star on 3DS, because that was mostly pick a sticker and let it do its thing.
Yeah, that was unique with the amount of stickers you get though. But yeah, no, I'm really liking this game. It's gotten to a point, like I think I'm 16 hours in, and it's kind of like, it's become very formulaic. It's like, okay, finish the chapter, find out where to go next, get to the next town, do something, get a new party member, get the boss, and then rinse and repeat. So it does kind of get formulaic because there are 7. I get the feeling if you only had 5 of the stars, it'd probably be like, okay, I'm not sick of it anymore. Like I really only noticed it after I got that 5th one. I'm like, oh, where am I going now?
Yeah, it's go new place, meet new partner, go do the dungeon, fight the boss, get the star, repeat.
Yeah, and it doesn't really change that much, especially when you're doing like a bunch of, I say random encounters, but like there are enemies in the overworld that you sort of run into it to like initiate combat. And it's kind of like when you're on your 8th or 10th of them in the same dungeon, it's like, okay, it's this enemy. I know what they do. I have the timing perfect. They're not going to do any damage to me, and I'm going to defeat them in one of my attacks. Like it's kind of a bit boring.
I think that might be where like the shortness of Mario RPG comes into play of being really good, because it's short enough that you won't get that burnout, but they also kind of played around with it a little bit in that it's not just go new area, get star. Like they do that for a little bit, but then like after the 4th or 5th one, they start playing around with it a little bit like, oh, you go to this area, but you're not actually like really after the star here. You're doing something else for a little bit. And then you're not going to do the star until the next area. And then you get there and it's like, oh, so something fucked up is happening here. Oh, you got the star and we're going to throw you through a loop now. And like you got a star, but someone's taking it away from you because they're threatening you. And they do that a little bit.
I thought you just meant that the game was like, oh no, you have a star when you shouldn't have.
Yeah. No, I don't think you can sequence break like that.
You've got any stars on your phone? But yeah, I'm really enjoying this game. I'd highly recommend it. Like even if people did play it when they were kids, I don't think I really enjoyed it when I was a kid, but I probably appreciate it more now just because of like this game. This game holds up. Like there is no way about it. Like there's a couple of things like you can only hold like 10 items in your inventory. That's dated.
Oh yeah, Mario RPG has that same problem.
Yeah, and you're like. But they give you a lot of items, so it's like, fucking hell, which one do I not want to use? But then it kind of incentivizes you to use more, but there's no need to use it. But yeah, like it's a good game. It's probably on the easier side of like RPGs, but at the same time, like if it was harder, it'd just be like more tedious and stuff. But yeah, I highly recommend for me if you've got the Switch, Nintendo Switch Online expansion pass, you have to fucking have the expansion pass because it's a Nintendo 64 game. But yeah, high recommend.
Mario RPGs are just really good. Like they're highly recommendable games.
Not sure I'd recommend Sticker Star.
I mean the real RPG ones. So for Paper Mario that ends at Thousand Year Door.
No, it doesn't. The Wii U one was fantastic. The Wii one was fantastic.
Yeah, but that's not a proper RPG. That's kind of like a mix between being a platformer with RPG elements.
That's right. Yeah, it was too, because they had that thing where you could turn 3D. That's right. What a fucking unhinged mechanic in a 2D game. But yeah, I highly recommend this game. I reckon it's a 9 as well. I think because I played this game, I'll appreciate the Super Mario RPG more. And I'm really glad that like I went back and played it. And I'm even more excited because they're remastering Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. But like it's even graphically, this game looks pretty like Flash. Like it looks like it's not in like 1080p or anything, but like it's
got a good art style that ages really well.
I'd say it doesn't age. Like the colors are still bright and stuff. There's like no jaggies or anything. There's like no loading times at all that I'm aware of, or that I really noticed. It's just like it genuinely holds up. Like,
yeah, that's what I mean by age as well. It doesn't like it's old as hell, but it still looks really good.
Yeah, it's good. I rate it 9 out of 10 for me. Old game good, but not too old.
Old game good. It's interesting that you say that though, because that reminds me of, and we were talking about Vita just before. Did you ever play Tearaway on Vita, Seth?
I didn't. I have it on PS4, but I haven't played it on that either yet.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
It's a shame. Because that's kind of the closest that Sony got to the sort of Paper Mario aesthetic. And what was really cool is that when you finished it, so Tearaway, real quick, 30 seconds, very similar to Paper Mario, but everything, because of the graphical prowess of the PlayStation Vita, looked realistic in the sense that you could build it out of paper. And what was really cool, the funny part is I don't remember much about that game because I played it so long ago. I just remember enjoying it. It was just like a fun little game that I played for a bit. But when you finished it, during the credits, it would feed you little instruction-y bits as to how to make a lot of the things that were in the game in paper in real life.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, I'm pretty. It was either in the credits or when you finished it. It said that you unlocked the manuals to make things. I forget what it was. I feel like it was during the credit sequence, but it was like some of the settings, some of the characters, or like lots of parts of Tearaway that were just like, oh, if you want to build it in real life, I mean, you can. Here's the instructions to do it. I just thought that was really neat because that takes the aesthetic to, I guess, sort of a new level in that it's 3D and that you're building it in real life, but like in the aesthetic of how it was intended. So nothing to take away from Paper Mario, but just while you were talking about how cool the aesthetic is, it just reminded me of how much I enjoyed Tearaway and would recommend. I completely forgot it was on PS4, but yeah, would recommend playing that at some point.
Oh, yeah, I remember hearing good things about that game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
As I say, cannot for the life of me remember the story, but the aesthetic was cool.
I think that was basically the impression I got from everyone. Like, don't really remember much about the story or even the gameplay itself, but the aesthetic was cool.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, thank you for that, Steve. I guess that's it for Round the Lounge for this week on this special episode 100. Means we get to move on to part 2 for this week, which is, of course, the news. Slightly outside the wheelhouse, what we normally talk about here, but felt like it's worth talking about just how absolutely fucked the OpenAI situation is at the moment, with Sam Altman getting surprise fired and then possibly rehired. And I think as of like an hour ago, there was like an OpenAI tweet saying that he's now back and that there's like a new board structure, but initially when he left, he said he'd only come back if it was a new board, and some of the people on the new board are still the same people as the old board, so I don't know.
They're his mates.
They're his mates.
Let the boys play, I say.
Some of them are definitely not, because some of them are the people that tried to fucking fire him. Well, I guess succeeded in firing him. Yeah, this is a story, one of the stories of all time. You would almost think it was written by ChatGPT.
Ooh, you might indeed.
Wait a second, is this just a creator again? Is this a creator too?
It is. You've got him, the creator, Sam Altman himself. No, what was also funny is that in the last 24 hours, well, actually, shit, all of this has taken place since about Friday. Basically, got fired on Friday, a bunch of stuff happened. There are probably better articles. Like The Verge has been doing a pretty good job covering it. Would recommend checking out their coverage because there's so many things to talk through. Like it would take us like 15 minutes to catch up on all the context. The cliff notes: the board fired Sam Altman from OpenAI. Sam Altman was surprised by this, and that has repercussions for OpenAI and Microsoft, which owns 49% of it. And so apparently there was then some weird power struggle between OpenAI, and they put their CTO as the new interim CEO. And then I think there's like 700 employees or something at OpenAI, and a bunch of them were like, okay, well, if Sam Altman's going, then we're going. And so Microsoft said, here, you, Sam Altman, and anyone that wants to come with you, have a place in our highly advanced AI research center. You can come and be the CEO of that. There was some ultimatum given to the board of, if you guys don't step down, then we as the employees of OpenAI are going to quit by 5 p.m. Sunday. board was like, all right, bet, and then hired ex-Twitch CEO Emmett Shear, which I find very funny. And so I don't really know, because I think as of an hour ago, he's now back at OpenAI, so I don't know what's happening to Emmett. I actually don't know what's happening with any of the people in this story. One of the funny takes I saw was that there was something that came out somewhere in the last 24 hours, because it's all up in the air and crazy. Elon Musk, who, funnily enough, was an initial founder of OpenAI, tweeted that someone sent him a letter, someone being an apparent whistleblower from inside OpenAI, talking about how the investigation into what happened over this weekend should go further to Sam Altman's actions all the way from 2018 onwards in terms of moving OpenAI from a non-profit to a for-profit and a few other bits and pieces. A bunch of allegations in there. To be honest, the allegations are so kind of hearsay. I actually don't know. They could be true, but it would be so hard to prove.
I don't even know what the allegations are. From what I heard, which was from like the initial, he got fired on Friday, was like he may have possibly said some stuff that was misleading to the board, which is why they wanted him gone and replaced.
Yeah. So all of that is why the board fired him this past weekend. But the whistleblower who sent the thing to Elon Musk alleges that Sam is basically just a bad person and is a bit duplicitous in terms of creating a hostile work culture and treating people like shit and other bits and pieces, which you could, I don't know, if the allegations are true, very bad, should be punished, absolutely. But you could also swap any person you don't like, their name, into this letter, and it would probably read similarly in terms of a fairly unevidenced, just kind of hearsayed, they, like, Sam did this, and Sam did this, and Sam did this, and I don't know what you're supposed to do with info like that. But the funniest part of it, which is why I say it was one of the funny takes, not that being a bad manager is funny, but the funny part of the letter is that it's Elon Musk that tweets this, right? Elon Musk tweets, hey, I think there's some merit that to this letter. This should be investigated. In the letter, it talks about how one of the motivations for Sam kind of being a bit duplicitous and just stressing the people under him because he is trying to like strive forward with all these other bits and pieces. One of the motivations given by the whistleblower is that he wants to kind of show up Elon Musk. They're falling out. And so you get this really funny kind of unsubstantiated claims letter tweeted by Elon, where one of the motivations in the substantiated claims letter is talking about how Sam's just really upset that he and Elon had a falling out.
Yeah, that kind of starts putting some dirt and muddying it up.
Yeah, and then there's other takes like maybe this is Elon trying out his new Grok AI or whatever the hell his one is to see if it can...
Twitter AI. Sorry, XAI.
XAI. Zai, if you will.
I will not.
It's a mess. We've already spent 6 minutes just trying... Like, there is so much more to the story, but it's so hard to talk through. Do you guys have any thoughts? I realize I've been dominating who's speaking. Sorry, but...
I literally have no thoughts. I want AI to make my thoughts. I hope they all just shake hands at the end and everyone has a good time.
You know, I'm just fascinated by how much detail you went into this when I basically had it on the docket to go, man, what a wild weekend for Sam Altman.
Yeah, initially it was supposed to be just the haha funny take from Elon Musk. I'm like, right, but we should probably figure out, like, we need to do a little bit of the how did we get here, because me dropping it out of context, Elon Musk is part of the reason why Sam Altman might have been a bad person from 2018 onwards is kind of, I mean, believable, but also kind of a hard sell.
As a CEO, it's more likely he's a bad person than not.
I mean, a rich person being a rich tech bro is a bad person. I don't know, Saif. That doesn't make sense.
They have your best interest at heart. Just accept the cookie.
I thought you loved Phil Spencer.
Phil Spencer's not a tech bro. He's a gamer like me.
Accept the fucking cookie, Seth.
Does the cookie have choc chips?
It's raisin, bro.
Fine, I'll have it, but I'm...
close second.
I'm going to give you a dirty look the entire time I'm eating it.
You'll have it, but you won't be happy about it. Speaking of things you won't be happy about, neither of you, like me, will not be happy to know that the Simpsons Hit and Run developers apparently had plans for like a franchise of the Simpsons Hit and Run series, possibly 5 games, including the first one. But they never came to fruition. And funnily enough, the developers are just as confused as us regular normies about why that didn't happen.
They're literally quoted as going, we have this franchise on a silver platter for you. What are you doing?
This article makes me sad. Interesting Simpsons Hit and Run. I've seen a bit more media around it. not recently, but I guess just this year because it's the 20-year anniversary since it came out. It came out 2003, which is wild to think about. But I guess the couple interesting things we've had, I think YouTube channel is just Rubes, or at least the guy behind the YouTube channel is Ruben, don't know his last name, video game maker from New Zealand, who remade Simpsons Hit and Run, at least parts of it, in Unreal Engine, I assume 4, some later Unreal Engine. Did a whole bunch of work on it. Really cool YouTube series. Highly recommend checking out. As well as, there was one other thing that, I feel like I talk about this every few months, but I replayed Simpsons Hit and Run, I think at the end of last year, on PC. Found a, I was going to say ROM. Is that the right term? I feel like that's not the right term.
I think it's close enough.
I think it's ISO.
Yeah.
Isn't that the same thing as a ROM?
It has the same function, but ISO is just a disk backup rather
Yeah.
than more associated with like a
okay.
cartridge. ISO is probably the best term. Thanks, Seth. I grabbed an ISO and I had to play it in compatibility mode because it is
An ancient game.
on modern tech. But
I'm gonna be real. Besides a certain select few games like Doom and Wolfenstein and stuff, PC gaming did not exist before the year like 2009.
true, I would 100% agree with that. But what was interesting is that replaying it, most of the enjoyment in it was nostalgia based. I'm not saying it's not a good game to play now, but I'm saying given a game that like I played it when I was like, I guess like 8 or 9 or so, maybe even older, let's say 10, right? Me playing it as a 10-year-old, given the sorts of games that a 10-year-old can play now, they probably wouldn't enjoy Simpsons Hit and Run. But it's still interesting to replay it when I'm so much older than 10 now, as to how much I enjoy parts of it purely on the nostalgia alone. Because at its core, it's like, I wouldn't even go so far as to say it's a GTA clone. It's basically just 3 or 4 different vehicle-related mission types and some story and a bunch of different levels. And that's basically all you needed for a game in 2003. And it was fantastic for that. But it is funny how playing it after playing so many other things in those years between, that you play it now and you're like, it really is a fairly basic game like at its core compared to stuff now. It's interesting.
Yeah, I don't think I'd particularly enjoy it. I remember it's one of the first games that I ever like 100%ed. Like I collected all these Buzz Cola cards and all that kind of stuff and got all the cars.
Yeah, and you got the hidden itchy and scratchy cinema ending in level 3.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. Yeah, there's a lot of things that like I reckon if I played it again, I'm like, oh, this happens. Oh, this happens. And
Yeah,
like, that part of the when you're playing as a poo, how fucking wild is that?
Cancelled.
Yeah, no. Yeah, pretty much.
I will say I appreciated the story much more. Like, maybe I was just a dumb kid, but I understood the plot beats, but I didn't understand the jokes around the story when I was watching it. Like, when they just do, like, Simpsons gags and stuff. I don't know why, it just wasn't that funny to me. But me watching it now, probably, I don't know how much Simpsons I watched when I was 10, but having definitely seen more Simpsons since, it's now just funnier. Like, the writing is just funnier to me now, and I think that was an interesting difference.
It was still in the era where Simpsons was still pretty funny.
That's what I'm saying, is like, it was just me being a dumb kid and just not getting it. But like me now playing it was like, aha, yes, I'm having like haha, like laugh moments at it. Whereas as a kid, I enjoyed playing it, but it wasn't from like the cutscenes, for example. I don't remember laughing at many of the cutscenes, if any. Like getting abducted, the aliens.
Is Hit and Run the one where it's got the intro of Mole Man saying, please kill me, and then it cuts to Marge and she goes, oh, that poor man, I hope somebody does kill him.
I honestly
like
cannot
that's-
remember that. What the fuck, man?
I think that's Road Rage.
Oh, that was Road Rage. Okay, yeah, I was getting...
I wanted Road Rage so much, I never got it. That would give me bad
it was-
driving habits.
Wait, now I feel like I'm being gaslit. Shit, because it starts with like a TV interview, I think. I can't believe I played this last year and I've already forgotten.
No, it starts with the wasp getting loose, doesn't it? The weird wasp camera thing, like sorry, not hit and run. Yeah, no.
Yeah, because that's the wasp that's punched out in the middle of the family living room, because that's the one that Homer like stomps on and kills. But I feel like it cuts to, we have a rise of black vans around Springfield, blah 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 blah. I'm Kent Brockman, and I feel like if but then Marge wouldn't be there because she tells you to get more things at the store. Fuck.
I don't think it matters. I think this isn't the best content we've ever done, fellas. Yeah. What they really need is to remake that Family Guy game that came out for the PlayStation 2 in like 2004. man, you really don't appreciate cutaway gags until you're actually playing one.
That is like in current year, that sounds like a threat.
Yeah. They've got like a Jetpack Joyride in the bottom as well. Is a 2023 Family Guy game Jetpack Joyride?
What?
Is a 2023 Family game like Jetpack Joyride or Subway Surfers or whatever it is?
What do you mean a 2023 game?
A 2023 Family Guy game, sorry. I'm having a... You know what? I completely fumbled the joke. Move on.
And to bring this full circle, I just looked it up. It was the Road Rage intro where Marge says that.
Oh,
and
okay.
Road Rage was also with the Ken Brockman interview.
Man,
This guy's never played Simpsons in his life.
What do you mean? I just had a perfect Total Recall moment just of the wrong game.
All right, Granddad, back to bed.
What was funny was I had the option of saving pocket money and getting Road Rage or Hit and Run. And because Road Rage was newer, because I think that's 2004, 2005, because that's the Crazy Taxi ripoff.
Yeah.
We had a school trip to an art museum, and then I got picked up from that, and I was like, yeah, I've saved up allowance, let's go to the game store. And Mum's like, okay, fine, we'll go to the game store. And so I picked up Road Rage and played it, really enjoyed it. I still really enjoy Road Rage. But then it was a period of like maybe 6 months or a year after that where just all of my friends started really getting into Hit and Run. And I realized I made a terrible mistake. Well, no, not a mistake. I enjoyed Road Rage, but I have no intent of replaying Road Rage, you know?
Yeah. It's a very simple game. It does what it's supposed to do.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a Crazy Taxi ripoff. Whereas I have and did replay Simpsons Hit and Run.
I think there was a Road Rage game on the Game Boy Advance I might have played. I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's move on.
I didn't know to myself. I played Road Rage on a friend's Xbox.
Oh, based. That's been a good friend if he's good playing an Xbox.
She.
Oh, she. Hey, lady friend. Gross. Girls are cuties.
So how did the cartridge taste?
No.
Moving on from Road Rage to Union Rage, Sega of America possibly union busting?
This is so stupid because they took all of the positive press of being union positive a few months ago, and now they're going behind the union's back and going, so yeah, we called in all of our employees got called in and got told to eat. Is it like they gotta break off with the union or they'll be fired?
Nice.
And it's something like 40% of its members are from that Sega America. Like 40% of the union's members are from Sega of America, so they'd be losing a chunk of people that they're supposed to be representing and protecting.
Ugh.
I can't believe they just Sonic 06'd all over the union.
Yeah, it's a really bad situation because they're doing very underhanded practices they're not supposed to be doing to try and union bust.
Gotta bust something.
Counterpoint, Seth. What are not underhanded tactics when trying to union bust? Because union busting itself feels like underhanded tactics.
Trying to break it off while the union is standing in the room. It's like, we're going to bust a union, but at least the union is in the room with us while we're busting them.
But what if the union's wife's boyfriend brings the switch around first?
And the union seems pretty based.
It's also interesting that like it's Sega of America is probably not going to get in trouble for this because like it's from what I'm reading of the article, it seems that it's a bunch of temp employees and it's like, yeah, well, we're not firing you, but we're just not renewing your contract. It's just a coincidence, I swear. And all the work that you're doing is going overseas. Yeah, it's sus.
I think it'll have to go through like as it says, the charge will be head to the National Labor Board, and I'm pretty sure they'll get some sort of punishment for it, but whether those employees are like fully protected will remain to be seen.
You get a slap on the wrist. Here's a $10,000 fine. Please pay it. Yeah, all right.
And probably like a restriction of not outsourcing those jobs, which how do you prove, I guess?
Yeah, and it'd be like, all right, cool, we won't outsource those jobs, but there's this other job and it's the exact same position. It's just got like analyst on the end of it.
Yeah.
Or a 2.
Level 2. Yeah, exactly.
So does that mean we're not allowed to buy Sonic games anymore? Do we like not buy Sonic games anymore because you don't want to support Sega?
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, all the good Sonic games, the ones made by fans anyway, right?
It means we can't play other Sega games as well, like the Like a Dragon games.
What if I'm playing them on Game Pass? I'm not paying for them.
No, you're still giving them revenue.
That's the strangest I'm based for having Game Pass argument like pro developer that I've seen you make, Steve.
Engagement numbers matter more than money numbers.
The only exception I will carve out, because I randomly had a flashback that it was still a thing, Space Marine 2 produced by Sega or maybe published by Sega, I forget which. Still slated for a winter 2023 release, so we're running out of months, boys.
But what if I was to download the game and then delete it, then download it again like a bunch of times?
Depends. Was it made by Unity? Was it made in Unity?
I think it was made by Unity. Maybe, I don't know. I'll ask it when I download it. Even if it doesn't, I'll just keep doing that. So surely they have to pay for some sort of service base or some bullshit.
You're gonna get them in trouble with their ISP just for having downloaded so much over the month.
Surely that's how it works.
Probably. Anyway, final thoughts on Sega union busting, or are we moving on?
Shitty situation, and it's made even shittier by them getting all that positive press back in July or whenever it was. Like, they celebrated that they were being friendly with the union.
July 4th, even.
It's really stupid. I hope they get their balls busted over it.
I hope they... I hope they do as well. I was going to say I hope they don't, just to play devil's advocate, but... everybody join your union. What's that?
Well,
you're afraid of communism? All right, good. Get fired.
Well, speaking of busting balls, Capcom is busting Seth's balls with some new Street Fighter 6 outfits. Which one you buying first, Seth?
Probably the big titty lady one.
I mean, kind of.
Yeah, you degenerate.
I play Cammy, so I'll probably get hers if they don't do like a big pack one.
Is Cammy the one with the feet?
No, that's Jury.
Yeah, you'd know.
I mean, Street Fighter, I feel like most fighters of Streets would have feet, but you know what?
Feet
Fair
fighter.
enough.
Now, I don't play Chun-Li, but her new costume is so good, I might have to learn how to play Chun-Li.
Shut up. I'm going through the pictures now. I can't remember what Chun-Li looks like. Look, it doesn't matter. I don't want to get into talking about the outfits. Do you like them, Seth, or not?
I do. They're all really good outfits. They were teased back at EVO in the end of July.
Wait, how do you not know who Chun-Li is?
No, I meant like I don't know what her new outfit looks like, and I can't really recognize it. I think she's got a different hairstyle with this.
She does. She's got longer hair and tied in a top knot.
They also have
I see it now. Yeah, it's a white outfit. Yeah, cool, wonderful.
Yeah, with their names.
Look, it doesn't matter. How much is this? Like $30,000?
We don't know yet. They're coming.
This game just came out. How are they on DLC Pack 3? Holy fucking shit! I hate fighting games so much.
No, it's outfit free because in the game you have two outfits. So the first DLC outfits are coming out. Like I was trying to say, they teased these back at EVO at the end of July, and then they just kind of went quiet, and everyone was like, well, where the fuck are the outfits? It shouldn't be that hard to make characters new outfits, right? And then it turns out, actually, no, they went and did like a bunch of unique physics systems to all of them. Like Zangief has glasses in his outfits, and whenever he's moving his head, they like bounce up and down on his face. Lily has a brand new hairstyle with unique hair simulation physics on her new costume. So yeah, they've been doing a fair bit of work on these, and it's made the weights more like people are understanding why the weights happens now. Yeah, coming out December 1st. We don't have a price point on these yet though, which is a little worrying. I feel like they're probably going to go
$30,000.
$5 a costume, pony up.
Well, we will have to wait and see. Speaking of ponying up, now I don't know if you guys know this, but there was a fairly popular. I know we just talked about the remake of Simpsons Hit and Run, but around the same time, 20 years. Actually, I think it might even be like a 70-year-old game. The Last of Us 2 was made, and Naughty Dog is finally remastering it for current gen consoles, and I for one applaud them for that.
I can't believe it took them so long to do this.
It did. I mean, the fans were just asking for it over and over. They were like, hey, we really want to play Last of Us 2, but we only have the current latest generation consoles, which are perfectly capable of playing the old one. But anyway, when's the remake coming? So finally, in amongst all of the cool new IP projects they could have been working on, Neil Druckmann stuck his hand in the hat, swirled it round and pulled out Last of Us 2 remake, and then everyone said, shit, really?
To be a little fair... No. It's not a remake, it's a remaster, which just means...
The game's 2 fucking years old. What's that, a remaster?
That's what I was going to get into. Like, the only thing that they're really doing is making it run native 4K. I'm really glad that this 10-year-old franchise has 2 games, 2 remasters, and a remake.
And a TV series, and a port.
The only other thing they're really adding is, like, a roguelike mode where... I guess everything needs a roguelike mode now?
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, that does sound kind of intriguing. Like, gotta be honest, that is not going to make me buy it, but at least I'm slightly curious as to what that is.
Actually, Patrick, do you own this game on PS4?
Honestly, I don't know, because I think one of them was part of the PlayStation. It's like it was that bundle that we talked about a lot. It's like you've just bought a PlayStation 5. For one price, you get like all of these just like known quantity excellent PlayStation games. And I feel like Last of Us was in there.
I think that was The Last of Us 1.
Yeah, okay, could have been 1. In that case, I've played 2, but I don't think I own 2. I might own 2. I don't think so.
Okay, well, for people that do own The Last of Us Part 2, you can just upgrade for like $10 and you'll get all of the added benefits, which is nice.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That's sort of acceptable, I guess.
It's weirdly generous of Sony to do that. But there's also weird additions like, hey, here's 3 levels we cut from the game. Why did you cut these from the game? Are they bad levels? Or did you decide these levels didn't need to be finished off and just cut them early on? What's going on here?
Do they have any interaction with the story, or is it just like, oh hey, you're here now?
Yeah, like we don't know how. It just says they were cut early in development. We don't know how early. Were these like, oh, we made like a layout and then we were like, oh, we don't need this one, so we cut it, or was it like pretty close to being done and then you cut it?
It's going to be like the Insomniac Museum in Ratchet & Clank 2, where it's just full of like unfinished assets, and they're like, thanks for the money.
Yeah. They've also got developer commentary.
That might be cool, I guess.
I mean, we're all in agreement that this is basically just yet again capitalizing off of all the new fans from the HBO series, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
100%. There's no way it's not.
The Last of Us Part 1 remake got a big boost in sales because of the HBO series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I find... Yeah, go.
Oh, well, I'm just going to say, we're probably going to say the exact same thing, but it's probably trying to capture, like, oh, hey, we just released The Last of Us Part 2 again. Please buy this game in the preparation for Season 2. I am sort of a bit interested that why they didn't release it at the same time as when the TV show comes. But
the TV show will still be a few years out, so why wait when they can capitalize, like, they can make the money now?
I guess so.
And Lord knows they need it, because, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't think Naughty Dog has made any other good franchises. As far as I know, the entire company is only based around Last of Us.
Since 2013, they've done 5 The Last of Us games and 1 Uncharted.
It's so much sadder realizing that there's only Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like as if, they haven't done anything new.
Two things that I want to speak to on that. So, one, I just... it's always this... For some reason, it's just The Last of Us, like, around The Last of Us media, that I don't like the marketing term that they keep throwing around of, like, finally, this remaster is the way that we want the game to be played. It's just a frustrating marketing term. Like, I know why it is that it's in there, and it sounds good because, like, yeah, it's like current gen and all these other optimizations.
This is the definitive version now.
No, but that's my point. It's just like if you get better hardware in future and then you want to remaster it again, I feel like you're banned from saying that phrase. But I know that
totally.
You're going to do that. But you're going to do it again anyway. It's like, finally, now you can play it the way that we really intended on even later gen hardware, which. I don't know. It's like the most minor nitpicky gripe, but it just annoys me when it's like, yes, we're going to remaster a game that's 2 years old because now this is the way we wanted you to play it. We couldn't do it back then, but now we can. The other thing that I want to speak to, something that my friend brought up actually, who because I played it with my mate and he's the one that owns Last of Us Part 2. He was saying having this is interesting because even though he has the upgrade pathway available, Last of Us Part 2 is not really the sort of game that you play through for fun.
Oh yeah, totally. I don't think it's a game you'd replay often, if at all.
But that's kind of my point. So it's interesting that you have access to this upgrade pathway, but he's not sure if he's going to even get the upgrade pathway because he doesn't really want to go through the process of murdering a pregnant woman and beating a dog to death and all the other fun story beats that exist in Last Part 2. Seeing Joel go to the driving range.
And all of the social and political commentary that might come with that, which I will not delve into deeper.
Yeah, that I wasn't going to touch that, but yeah, that's also something that is an interesting choice to bring up now of all times. But there are video essays on YouTube you can go look into if that sounds curious to you. But
Or find out the director's political linings and background.
Yep. Anyway, I'm good to move on. It's one of those like I guess Naughty Dog. You know, you look at the creative variety they had in the first however many years of the company, and you look at the creative variety in the last 10 years, and it's just like, fuck's sake.
Well, why make new games when old games sell just as well?
Who was it last week? Seth, who was it last week? It was like gamers only want sequels.
505.
What the fuck? Who would say that? I don't
505,
want sequels. Give me new IP. I do not want any more sequels. Holy shit. Who said
but they
that?
had to lay off a bunch of their employees because people only want sequels.
Yeah, people only want sequels, Steve. I don't know what to tell you. If you don't want to play a sequel, you're not a gamer. It's official.
There's two more points I kind of want to quickly touch on with this. I'll just make them short. The first one is I don't want to harp on it too much because this does seem like a fun thing and it's a video game, so gameplay and fun should matter a lot. But it's kind of funny that the game has like this whole commentary on the cycle of violence being bad and we should stop that. And then this re-release does, here's a roguelike mode where you go through 12 levels of murdering people.
But is it fun?
Never even connected those dots. That's so good.
And the other thing is, it came out that apparently this isn't like a full all hands on deck sort of thing. This is just like, oh, hey, we got a bunch of new employees at Naughty Dog, so we're going to get them to wet their whistle by doing a remaster of this game, which feels like the excuse that every remaster project has is, yeah, we got a bunch of new employees, so to get them used to our toolkit, they're going to remaster an old game.
I think there's a slight difference with that, though, because, like, you remaster an old game, there's maybe, like, one guy who sits in the corner that doesn't get along with people or something, and you have to ask him, like, hey, when you initially made this 10 whatever years ago, help me remaster this. What was the intent of this piece of code? Something. I feel like because the game's only 2 years old, there's going to be so many work chats where they're like, oh, man, I had to remaster this fucking horrendous job the previous person did on, like, this, I don't know, animation or this texture or this lighting or whatever it is. And there'll just be someone at the next table going, that was me.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
I don't know, because I think The Last of Us 2 burned a lot of people out of working at Naughty Dog, which is why they have an influx of new people.
Hey, all the people before you came and burned themselves out in this game, you got to do the same thing.
Are you stronger than the last batch? Or will you two be The Last of Us?
Yeah, and with that, they're assuring us that they're doing a new projects being led by Neil Druckmann. Now, by new project, do they just mean new IP, new project, or new The Last of Us project?
No. It's The Last of Them, baby.
Now, when he made this series, he always envisioned it as a 3-part story.
You reckon he's got the script in like a glass box and it says, in case of emergency, break glass?
The Last of Us Part 4. The lasting of harder.
Oh, lastify this.
Joel didn't actually die in part 2. He comes back as a zombie in part 3.
Oh, hang on.
Man, they never mind. I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to get into that.
We spoke about this last year or 2 years ago when I played it.
You mean when it was a new release game?
I don't think it was new release, and I think it was like a year old when I played it. Still got it for $20.
Oh.
So if I get it doesn't matter.
That's essentially the way you should go about this. Don't buy the PS5 disc, buy the PS4 disc cheap, and then do the cheap upgrade.
and then like the Unity license cost, keep doing that. Keep buying cheap copies and keep buying the upgrade. Eventually, it'll cost Naughty Dog something.
Anyway, move on.
Yeah, moving on to Unicorn Overlord. No idea what the fuck this is. Don't know who snuck this in. I blame eeny, meeny, miny, Steve.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
You played 13 Sentinels. You should be all up into this one.
Is this... I don't really know. Oh, it's coming out for the Xbox. That's all I need to know. I don't really know. I remember hearing about this, like, not an E3 at Gamescom, I think it was.
E3's dead. Move on.
Yuck. Bring it back. But yeah, so this is Vanillaware, and this is the people that did 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. That's why I got handballed it. But it's coming out in March 8th next year, and there's about 8 minutes of footage. It's all in Japanese, so I didn't bother watching it. But the art style looks fucking papery, and I don't like it. In the cutscenes, and in like the overworld, it's very like Fire Emblem with like the mini type of thing and tiles. I don't know. Just flicking through this video, and I'll take the point that maybe my expectations are a bit different. Fuck it, it just looks low budget about it, and I don't know what it is.
Oh, right. I get it. So you're saying they should remaster it.
Yes.
Yeah, but they have to wait 2 years first.
No, you know what? I think remaster should come out the day the game comes out. a day one remaster, if you would.
No, remastered DLC on disc.
Unless you're going to be fucking sick.
So they're going to release it on PS4 as Unicorn Overlord, but on the same day it releases on PS5 as Unicorn Overlord Remastered.
Unicorn Overlord Game of the Year edition. Just kidding.
Yeah.
It has all the DLC included, but the PS4 version doesn't. They're going to trickle it out over the year.
They include an entire dev commentary.
I know what it is. I know why it looks cheap. It's like the shadow. There's something wrong with the shadows. There's something wrong with the lighting. It looks fucking weird.
Well, Shadow couldn't make it because he's part of the union busting efforts by Sega at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just something about it. I don't know what it is.
I kind of know what you mean. Just like purely from a screenshot, I kind of know what you mean.
I think it's mostly the overworld you're getting that impression from.
It's both cutscenes and overworld. There's something like the background of the cutscenes like look detailed, but they're
not as detailed as other Vanillaware games. The backgrounds,
yeah, the backgrounds look fine. It's just like the character models. I think that's my problem with it. Like maybe it looks like there's too much lighting on the character models, but it doesn't look like that same lighting is in the background.
No. You know what it is? It's the definition of the characters. One, they are a lot darker because the light source is coming from above. But actually, you know what it is? It's fucking uncanny. So all of the light, I'm just looking at one of the screenshots in this article. All of the lighting is coming from the front of the background, but it's lighting all the characters from the top, and so it's tripping. That's it. Tripping your brain out.
Yeah, that's it. No, you're right. Yeah, because you look at their shadows, it looks like the light. Yeah, you're right. 100%. Looks fucking weird. Anyway, I don't really know what this game's supposed to be.
It's kind of, you said it before, but yeah, it's kind of Fire Emblem-ly, but instead of being on grid maps, it's like you're on this, like, basically like a nation overworld, and you're moving along in real time and trying to attack enemies that are also advancing and occupying paces in real time.
A grid-based Age of Empires?
Potentially.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is one of those games, like, exactly like 13 Sentinels. I don't really get it. And then you play it, it's like, oh, now I get it. But trying to articulate it into words, it's like, doesn't work. I'll put that in the watch category. We'll see how we go.
Wow, not even a honk shoe from Steve on this one. Interesting. Well, maybe we don't honk shoe.
Hang on, they call this game an SRPG, which is like a simulation RPG, reminiscent of the classic simulation RPGs of the 1990s. Anyway, move on.
I completely lost the segue I was going to roll with, so I'm just going to state it. We have some Suicide Squad news. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. We have I think we hinted that this was basically coming out as soon as we finished recording last week.
Yeah, like the day after.
It was like a dev diary or something, right?
Yep. Dev diary of reintroducing the story and gameplay of the game.
Yes, that's right. Thank you. So that's available. Have either of you seen it? I have not.
I did. I watched all 20 minutes of it.
Ooh.
Why?
I was surprised I stayed awake for all 20 minutes of it.
Oh, no.
You didn't even watch it later. You watched it live.
No, I didn't watch it live. I just watched it the day it came out.
No,
sorry.
he was saying he was alive when he watched it.
And then he committed Sudoku.
And then he became the Suicide Squad. That was perhaps a little too dark. I'm sorry. Anyway,
Yeah,
so what was the 20-minute video like, Seth, who was definitely alive?
So I will put it in this way, and it should give a good impression. One of the characters you can play as is Captain Boomerang, and you will use some of his signature weapons, like shotguns and sniper rifles. They did not learn their lesson. Which, we talked about this. It's like, it's a 7-month delay. How much can they really change? And the answer is not a whole
enough.
lot. They just wanted the smoke to blow away and hope they could sneak it back in.
Hear me out. They try and launch it in February. Everyone goes, this is shit. Do better. They go away. They come back. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League Remastered coming soon.
Ooh, you're tempting me.
Yeah.
So something that they also bring up is that they wanted to expand on the counter system that they created for the Arkham games. Which, the whole Arkham game combat system is pretty fun. You go into like this flow state, an enemy goes to attack you, you press a button to counter them. It's very intuitive.
Yeah, because in a mob of enemies, they all attack you one at a time, like every fight ever.
Or they did end up increasing it where it's like, two enemies will attack you, you counter both of them at the same time, and then later on they're like, 3 enemies will attack you at the same time.
No one would see this coming.
How do you guys want to guess how they've revolutionized the counter system this game?
Wait. I'm sensing a pattern, downloading, analyzing, thinking, hypothesizing. 4 enemies at once.
Yeah, you're going a little too hard there.
Shit.
But keep in mind, this is a third-person shooter.
Surely the mechanic doesn't exist if it's a third-person shooter.
You counter them with guns?
Yeah. They flash that they're going to attack you, and if you hit them while they're flashing the counter thunderbolts that are in the Arkham games, then you do bonus damage to them.
Okay.
That seems like a great evolution to the system.
I don't really have a response to that. I'll be honest.
I don't want to say anything. I want to move on. I don't want to talk about this game. This game's going to come out. Remember when that Avengers game came out and everyone's like, man, this game's shit. It's going to be exactly the same thing.
What do you mean? Gotham Knights is literally this game.
Yeah, or the definition of mid.
I think that is how we summed it up, eh? It's just like, it's the very definition of mid.
Yeah, and they didn't show any actual missions. They showed cutscenes and then some random snippets of shooting people. One of the big complaints when they showed off the last thing was like, oh, hey, you just made Destiny wave defense missions. And I think that's just what this game's gonna be.
And that comment was subsequently deleted. I don't know if that's true, but it would be funny if it was. Yeah, I don't know. I think this will be one of those that we meme on until it finds its place in the ground with the rest of the trash that gets shoveled out to us each year.
It'll be memed on for a week, then it'll be forgotten about. Remember Gollum?
No.
I wish I could forget.
I hope they remaster that game soon.
You mean the thing that remastered the game studio?
You've been remastered to a customer.
To customer? Current gen customer upgrade.
Okay, next Suicide Squad article.
That's right. There's a second article. Well, off the back of that, did you or someone that you know listen to that and go, wow, I really want to see someone get ready to attack me and then I shoot them for bonus damage? Well, good news, person that probably doesn't have a lot going on in their life. You too can sign up for the closed alpha registration.
Alpha. This close to release. Alpha.
Yeah, and it's closed as well. And I'll admit, I did have a look on it. You've got to like sign an NDA and you're not allowed to stream while playing with it. You're literally not allowed to even talk about it.
Hear me out. They have the alpha. Immediately roll into the beta, and then right before, and then like they have the release, and the release is done without any fanfare or anything. But then Sigma. I feel like we're onto a winner. Anyway, so if you're signing up for the alpha.
No, I'm not. Sorry. There was one more thing I wanted to bring up, but I need to get the actress's name. Sorry, give me a second.
Simply remaster her name into a new one.
Okay, I got it. So Amanda Waller is shown off in this game. She is the black lady that oversees a Suicide Squad. This is a video game. This has a black lady in it. Can you guess who the actress is?
Puerto Rican man.
No.
Oh, rats.
This is like the 20th game that's hired Deborah Wilson to be the facial motion capture actress.
Fuck it, it's still her. Holy shit, man. Man, she's got like what? She's been typecast.
Yeah, typecast as black woman in video game.
Yeah, I was going to say, the typecast is a racial stereotype, Steve. I don't know if that's what they want.
Yeah, maybe typecast wasn't the right word there, but like, ugh.
Interesting.
Yeah, I just thought that was kind of funny to bring up.
This will be one of the games of all time. But hey, this one might not be good, but given that gamers only want sequels, maybe the next Suicide Squad won't be shit. Hold
on, let them suicide.
I feel like we should probably stop that. If you resonated a bit too hard with that, get help. People care about you. I also think people care about Dragon's Dogma 2 because
I do
showcase is set for November 28th.
You haven't even played Dragon's Dogma 1.
Yes, I did. I talked about playing it.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, I completely forgot.
Can't believe you just tried to gaslight Seth like that when he's already excited for the second one. Imagine you say that and Seth's just like, you're right, I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I played it before the second one got announced.
Oh, I think it was like just after.
No, I think it was just before. Like, Dragon's Dogma 2 has been an open secret since DMC5 came out. And I was like, I will play Dragon's Dogma before the second one comes out.
Well, hang on. Semi breaking news. Oh, actually, no. Finish your thing, then I'll go to my breaking news.
Steve, it's breaking news. You don't go, I have breaking news, but finish your thought. It's like, this is breaking news. Shut the fuck up. I'm talking now. So what is the breaking news?
Knackley Salt Shaker is actually available now.
Yeah, I wasn't there last week. So,
thank you for that.
Everyone's favorite fighting game, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R.
Oh yeah, I wasn't going to bring that up because I don't think you had watched Part 8.
Well, you can't
Red.
watch Part 8 because it's not an anime. So I haven't read it, you piece of shit. How dare you think I'm a fake fan? I haven't read Part 9.
Oh, fake fan.
Yeah, no, it's not finished yet. It's not real. But yeah, anyway. So they, for Season Pass 2, are getting Wonder of You, which is the playable character from the end of Part 8, like he's the final boss type of thing. And that's absolutely huge because I don't think they've actually been seen in any type of like media outside of Japan. So that'd be very interesting. Don't know why they chose this character because I think, if I remember correctly from when I played this game, Part 8 Yosuke like only has like a handful of moves because it was like pretty early when it was released. So I don't know why they're bringing out the final boss.
Yeah, All-Star Battle released like while Part 8 was still brand new, so they had very little to work on for Gappy.
Yeah.
And now this is released while Part 9 is brand new, so they're like, final villain of Part 8.
Yeah,
It's also really weird because Wonder of You is a non-confrontational stand.
Yeah, like it brings about disaster.
And the stand user isn't going to be playable. They're just going to be in the background and in scenes. You actually play as a stand itself.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Like, you don't see the user for like fucking ever.
It's one of the most powerful remote stands in the series.
Yeah, and that's what it's designed to be. Yeah, I just think that's pretty interesting to note for all of us, all three of us. All-Star Battle R.
Do you have it?
It's on Game Pass. I actually have it downloaded.
I think it might actually be on sale on Steam at the moment as well.
There you are. This is a sign, Seth. This is a sign, Pat. I know how much you love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Pat.
It's true. I love things that sound like Mojo Jojo and things that are bizarre.
What about Adventures?
And Adventures just a nice bonus, really.
Right on. Cool. Yeah. No. Okay. I'm done.
Okay. Yeah. So back to Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah.
The showcase is set for November 28th. It's going to be 15 minutes long. And yeah, not much else to say besides that, besides expect a release date.
Or expect the unexpected.
Okay.
Which would be?
That they're remastering it, baby.
Yeah.
They already
Finally.
did that. It was called Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. It was even remastered on the same console.
That's right. It was too.
Now it's going to be Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen.
Darker Rising, if you know what I mean.
Cool. And we apparently have the release date revealed by the ratings board. We'll just roll it into the second article, which, I mean, do you want to continue chatting, Seth?
Yeah, so thanks to Peggy, and I was trying to
Peggy
set up that
18.
I was trying to set up that that segue for Patrick, and then he just flatlined it. Yeah, so Peggy's rated the game as being Peggy 18, but along with that, they also leaks the release date is going to be March 22nd, 2024, which I guess is Capcom's big multi-million seller that's going to be releasing in March.
I don't know what to say about that.
This isn't surprising to me because we didn't know Dragon's Dogma's release date. They kept saying they're going to release a game in March before the fiscal year's over, and it's too late for like something else big to be announced and come out in that time frame.
Yeah, and if they're doing that 15-minute showcase, probably just generating hype for it to come out in like 3 months.
Yeah, and it was playable at TGS.
Oh yeah, that's right, it was too. Yeah, cool. Interesting.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that game. I'll probably be there day one. It's just long enough after Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's release date that I'll have enough time to play Rebirth and then finish it and be ready for Dragon's Dogma.
How old is Final Fantasy VII, given that that's sort of almost a remake in and of itself, right?
25, 26 years old, I think.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right. Well, in a similar sort of vein, we're coming up on the 20th anniversary of a much better franchise, that must be said, Monster Hunter. Where
How many games does Monster Hunter have?
I honestly, you could gun to my head, I would not be able to tell you.
Yeah, and how many games does Final Fantasy VII have?
Shit, I wasn't ready for that. I was ready for how many games does Final Fantasy Final Fantasy have in general? I've been like, oh yeah, 16. But just 7 alone, fucking no idea. It's probably going pound for pound with the number of Monster Hunter games, actually.
It's less than you think, but more than you'd hope.
It's more than it. Yeah. Exactly what I was going to finish with. Anyway, so we have the Hunter's Choice, where there are, I love that they say all 229 Monster Hunter series monsters, big and small on the list. Basically, vote for your favorite monster. And I love this idea just like in general, and also it's just been really cool being, because like Monster Hunter Now, people have talked about how it's the 20th year anniversary, and also just being in Japan, going to the Capcom bar and the Monster Hunter bar for, they didn't have it decked out for the 20th, but just like it's like on the back of an event, and in the bar's case it was mostly the release of Monster Hunter Now. But yeah, they're doing a big ballot for trying to find, I guess, the most popular monster. I suspect it's going to be one of the flagships like Tigrex or Rathalos, or one of those that just has
Jaggy.
Was Tigrex a flagship?
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you a fake fan? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I started with Monster Hunter World, thank you very much.
Oh, even I started before that, Seth.
I played a couple before that, but I didn't fully get into the series until Monster Hunter World.
So we have Monster Hunter 1, where the...
Stop trying to push the Jaggies.
Fucking Jaggy agenda over there. Big Jaggy.
Big Jag.
Jagaya, if you will.
Big Jaggy has nothing on Great Jagras.
They're so different. Like they don't even look, they're not even the same color. Like that's such a... Anyway. But
they're both starter monsters, I think.
Yes, you are correct on that one.
Correct.
So flagships, ones that I remember at least. Monster Hunter, I don't remember if there's a difference between Monster Hunter and Monster Hunter Freedom 1, but Monster Hunter Freedom 1 was Rathalos. Monster Hunter 1 was Rathalos as well, I'm pretty sure. Monster Hunter Freedom 2 was Tigrex. That was the one that I knew about but never played. Monster Hunter Freedom Unite was Nagakuga. That was the first one that I played. And we got Monster Hunter Tri, which I think was Lagiacrus.
Was Lagiacrus the underwater one?
Yeah. The Sparky Boy underwater.
And then they never brought back that mechanic because it sucks?
Exactly. Yep, that's the one. They went, hey, underwater levels are terrible, and then never did it again. Monster Hunter 4 was Gormagala. Monster Hunter... And then it gets a bit weird because there's technically not really a Monster Hunter 5. There's just a bunch of games in the series after Monster Hunter 4. But games after that, Monster Hunter Generations, the flagship was... Ooh. I actually don't remember which one they settled on, because there was the whole thing of the 4 of them.
XX was Valstrax, wasn't it?
I don't know if that was the flagship, but that was definitely up there. Like, it was introduced in like Double Cross or Generations Ultimate or whatever you want to call it. But it wasn't introduced in Generations. I don't remember, because they introduced the big 4 in Generations, which was Glavenus, Mizitsune, Astalos, and the Mammoth, which I've forgotten the name of.
Mammothos,
yeah, probably. It's definitely not.
Close enough.
And we can't forget that Monster Hunter World has Steven's least favorite flagship.
It's true.
What?
Gigante.
You vast, nearly tricking me. You tricked me.
And then Monster Hunter Rise was Magnamalo, who really is just too big as a monster, has to be said.
Don't forget, Iceborne had
Velkhana,
that's the one. And,
and
then Sunbreak had Miztsune?
Nah, Melzina. Because I was right when I said that the last monster was going to be a variant. Boom. Go me. Gamoth. Boom. I knew it began with a G. Gamoth is the mammoth one.
Mammoth.
I feel like the flagships will take the majority of the votes, but there are a few in there that could stand a chance, like Bracky.
Bracky, yeah, introduced in... that was Monster Hunter 3. I forgot. I think he might have been the flagship for Monster Hunter 3, actually.
Oh, well, fuck me then.
Well, no, because Monster Hunter Tri was the underwater one, but they did have Monster Hunter 3 just like as its own.
Yeah, I just mean, I tried to make a point of maybe one of them won't be a flagship, and then the immediate one I say is a flagship.
No, I think so the 3, like the 3rd generation, I never played. I didn't play Tri, I didn't play Monster Hunter 3. I think it's Bracky just based off of other media where he's just featured prominently. But other great contenders though. Akintor and Ukenlos, I really like. Seregios from Monster Hunter 4, sick.
I think Diablos has a chance.
Diablos is up there.
Glavenus would be one I'd vote for.
Yeah, and that's one that is on the Generations card, but is not necessarily the flagship, so it's in with a chance. Here's the awkward thing, right? Glavenus has 4 variants? I don't know how it's going to do variants, because you have Glavenus, you have Acidic Glavenus, which was introduced in Iceborne, you have Hellblade Glavenus, which was introduced in Generations, and maybe it is just the 3. But the thing is, people are going to vote for one of those.
Yeah, it'd be like I think it would be better to combine them, because it'd be like, or you could vote for Rathlos, or you could vote for Rathian, or you could vote for Pink Rathlos, or you could vote for Pink Gold Rathian.
Yeah, I mean, Rathalos and Rathian are fairly different, but like Pink and Gold and Azure and Silver are very different.
Yeah.
Tigrex actually has a surprising number of variants as well.
Yeah, and then there's I forgot the name of it, the Fire Lion?
Oh, Teostra.
And then I think Lunastra, it deserves its own category.
Well, that's why I say is that Teostra and Lunastra are not variants, in the same way Rathalos and Rathian are not variants.
Yeah.
So they'd be in their own categories anyway. But there's a surprising number of Tigrex variants, which is interesting. If I had to vote, I don't know which... Oh, Fatalis would get a bunch of votes as well.
Yeah.
Just by being fucking Fatalis. But even Fatalis, there's like Crimson Fatalis and White Fatalis. There's also all of the Monster Hunter Frontier monsters, which I've never played because it's only available in like China and Japan, I think. They have so many monsters. The only ones that have made it to the West are begins with an E, not Empress. Sounds kind of like him, Empress though.
Mammoth.
No, not that, Steve. Shut up. It's gonna hurt. Which they introduced in Sunbreak.
Espada?
What was that?
I think it's Espada.
It sounds close, but I don't think that's it, because I think that's the Spanish word for shovel.
Yeah, and I think its name is like Spanish for spike or something.
Espinaz.
Espinaz.
Espinaz. Yeah, Espinaz is the one that they introduced. The only reason I know the Espada thing is because Teostra Espada is like one of my favorite weapons. I'm pretty sure it does just mean Teostra shovel.
I've got one more question before I think we should wrap this up, because we've been on it for a little bit.
Always have been.
What do you think would get the least amount of votes? Because I've got a contender in my head.
Yeah, I have a few contenders in my head as well. I think Zenoga would get a bunch of votes as well. So
Zenoga would get one of my votes.
I have a lot of personal biases around things that I hate to fight. So I would suggest that it gets the least number of votes, not because I think it deserves the least number of votes, just because I hate it and it deserves to die.
That's fair. Oh, I wonder if they count Behemoth. Like it's a guests monster for Monster Hunter World.
That's such a good question. Because they include big and small monsters, I don't know if they'll include things like Vespoids and Hornitors, which are just bugs. Assuming that they don't, I suspect the lowest, at least of the large monsters, would probably be something like... Oh, shoot, I had one. I think it'd be something like Shengaren.
Yeah.
Which was a giant crab from Monster Hunter 2, which I don't think has made an appearance since.
Something I think that would be a contender for a low amount of votes is Xeno'jiiva.
I think it would get higher than you give it credit for.
Maybe it'd be mid-Carter.
It would be, because you have Xeno'jiiva and you also have the immature form, something Jiva. It was done at the end. Safi Jiva, thank you, yeah. Done at the end of Iceborne, which again splits the variant votes and things. Yeah, maybe. I suspect those sorts of endgame things actually get more votes than you think, because that's sort of what people just grind, because that's the first endgame set that they get, and they're like, oh, look at me, it's so cool.
Yeah, but I know a lot of people don't like the Xeno fight or the Xeno design in general.
Yeah, I guess it's fair. There's also the shoot something. Yeah, the other one I was going to say. It's a real interesting monster, but I don't think it's ever made a reappearance. Something like Hypnocatris, also from Monster Hunter 2. Interesting in that it's actually got quite a cool design, but for some reason they've just never wanted to like continue with it, or maybe something easy like Great Macau, or something that just is kind of like one of the dumb starting monsters that you just farm for the sake of farming. I don't know. I'm super interested. The voting is open from November 21st through to December 20th. Yeah, I will need to go put my ballots in. Maybe I'll do that after this. Who knows? But yeah, it's just really cool that they're celebrating what at least in my life has been several thousand hours. And now that I have an Asus ROG, it can be even more.
I believe they're also setting up like an anniversary stream in March. Oh no, they're just saying March 2024 in general marks the 20th anniversary.
Which, yeah, I don't know, really cool. And a big, as I say, a big part of my life. So go and vote if you care, or if you don't care, go and put votes in for something like Akintor, which is just based. Anyway, fuck Agnactor though.
I think they will do an event for the 20th anniversary though, like even though they haven't announced anything yet, I think March will get something announced for like a stream or a celebration.
I think they'll have to. I mean, even in the Japanese opening ceremony, they played a Monster Hunter track for the Olympics, I mean.
Yeah, and they'll announce the next big projects there.
Oh, I really want it to be earlier than that, but that's such a good call, actually.
And they're also doing an MSI collaboration.
Interesting. Huh. Anyway, so Monster Hunter has been a part of Sony devices for a long-ass time. Did a few Nintendo ones in the midst, but speaking of Sony, boom, self-segue, nailed it. How would...
Yeah, you've had better ones.
Yeah, and Sony's had better lawsuits. So, where are we at, Steve? Where are we
name
at?
two. Name two better lawsuits.
The GeoHot lawsuit?
The time they got sued for the PlayStation Network hack in 2011, 2012.
Yeah, what Seth said.
Yeah, man. Yeah, big surprise. The average PlayStation fan gets his credit card stolen. Yeah, very funny. X-Chads keep winning.
This
Yeah,
is why Xbox has to keep giving you guys games for free. You can't be trusted.
You can't be
What does that
trusted.
even mean? Holy shit, holy cope, man. You're literally delusional. So because the Sony store got hacked, Xbox doesn't trust us with their credit card. You know what? Get out of here, Seth. Pack your stuff. You're gone.
Well, that's what the court said to Sony trying to dismiss the $7.9 billion lawsuit over the PlayStation Store prices. And you might be thinking, wow, how do I get $7.9 billion from Jim Ryan himself? And the answer is you probably can't, because this is specific to the UK, and it's all about they call it the like walled garden monopoly, where it's not like they've been squeezing prices. It's just that because of the lack of competition, there's no reason for them to reduce prices, which is very fair.
They also bring up all of the console manufacturers do this, but they take a 30% cut for all of the sales on their platform. And one of the parts of the lawsuit is saying, well, with this 30% thing that you're doing, that just incentivizes you to drive up the prices even more.
True, actually, yeah. And I mean, speaking from experience, not even being in the UK, but holy shit, it absolutely stung my wallet when they were like, hey, how would you like to renew PlayStation Plus for another year? It's only double the price. Literally nearly $200 to renew PlayStation Plus. And then, you know what's crazy? The Black Friday sales. Cheaper, but not as cheap as they used to be.
Oh, really? Because I was going to say the Black Friday PSN sales hit over here, and it's like, oh, hey, all PlayStation Plus is cheaper. Now you can take advantage of that, and you look at it as the exact same price as PlayStation Plus used to be.
I don't know if it was the same price. It probably is, but I bought the last PlayStation Plus year in the same Black Friday sale. So it probably is the same as like a standard price, but for me, it's still crazy expensive because, I mean, shit, I could count on one hand the number of times I've used the PlayStation this year. Actually, I've only used it for Remnant 2 and the Final Fantasy 16 demo. I think that's it.
Yeah, I've got a... Yeah, I don't think I've played my PS4 in like ages. I think I've got like one game I've got to play. I've got Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah, but that's not surprising because you mostly play on your Xbox anyway.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Will I cave and buy a PlayStation 5 soon? Probably not.
Spider-Man sounded like it was tempting you a little bit a few weeks ago.
It was, yeah. Spider-Man, the Final Fantasy 7 remake, Final Fantasy 16.
The Last of Us Part 2 remaster.
No, let's not give people false impressions of Steven.
Oh, I thought you were going to say let's not give people false impressions of platform exclusive games.
No, we do that all the time.
Yeah, you're right. If it's not on Game Pass, I don't want it. But yeah, anyway, moving along.
Moving on. Final thoughts from you on this, Seth?
Yeah, no, I didn't really get my thoughts out actually, but I hope this does do something to Sony, because this is similar to like the Epic versus Apple lawsuit, and now Apple's had to like open up their walled garden, and I think it's just a good idea to make them open up these walled gardens, and then maybe Epic will put the Epic Game Store on PlayStation Network.
Maybe the Xbox should put the Microsoft Store on the PlayStation. I don't know.
Imagine you can go into the Microsoft Store and buy and download games, but you just can't play them.
I mean, I'd imagine it's you just buy what's available on that platform. You wouldn't be able to buy like Halo and then not be able to access it.
No, I think that's exactly what you do, and that would be very funny.
It would be, but I think they'd set it up so that it's just whatever is accessible on the console is what you can buy from the store.
Do you reckon we ever get to a stage where you go and you pay for go and you buy something from PlayStation Store, right? Do you reckon PlayStation Store follows the trend of literally everything else on the planet and makes me want to fucking kill myself, and that it gives you would you like to give a tip before you click the pay now button?
Oh, tip your console manufacturer. But yeah, I hope this is like, I don't think it's going to like go super badly for Sony, but I think I hope it does enough damage that they have to open up the walled garden. I also hope that it kicks them in the ass to do better with their refund policy, because it's absolute shit at the moment, where it's like, where the agreement is you can only get a refund if you haven't downloaded the game.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking weird.
Yeah, besides that, not much else to say. I don't think they'll end up doing that 7.9 billion payouts. That seems a bit excessive.
What do you mean? Jim Ryan can just go to Bobby Kotick and ask him for the money if he doesn't have it.
Not anymore, he can't. He has to go to Phil Spencer now. Oh, that's the other thing, though. I think the reason
Phil Spencer has to go to Satya Nadella, and Satya Nadella has to go and just buy the rest of OpenAI.
I think the reason this is happening to Sony is because they are the console leader when it comes to the high-end console market. Since that's the thing that has to exist now. It's not, Nintendo can't be included because they're low-end consoles.
Do you imagine if the same lawsuit comes up against Xbox and like, hey, we want to sue you for $1,500 because that's what we reckon you've been doing in excess profits from selling people shit on the Xbox store.
Don't be that mean.
It's the 100th episode. I can do what I like.
You're right.
Well, always have been. So that brings us to the end of the news for this week. We have an audience question that I think
I love the audience.
Rather interesting. Adam writes in saying, hey guys, big fans, congrats on 100. In what ways have you guys grown over doing 100 episodes? A little open-ended. I assume, I don't know whether that's like grown as hosts or grown as like ability to put some kind of insane ramblings together each week, in which case that's literal magic performed by Seth, and I have no interest in learning how to do that myself.
Or just grown as people.
I don't think so.
I think I've regressed, actually. Steve's definitely regressed.
What do you mean? I've only gotten funnier. I've only become more successful since this podcast is coming out. Did I have a Pokemon career before this? No, I didn't.
It's... Actually, when did we start this? When was episode
100
100
episodes ago. Come on, man.
100
Keep up.
episodes. Oh, wow. Yeah, crazy.
It might have actually just been around 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah, because I remember like the pandemic stuff was...
Oh my god, it was. Episode 1, November 2021.
Fucking hell, yeah. 2 years.
2 years. See, that's crazy because I, in September, celebrated being on my current team at work for the longest time that I've been at my company of 2 years. So that means that I started the first episode, like we did the first episode together when I was on my new team, quote unquote, new team, air quotes, for 2 months. And now here we are 2 years later, and I've been on my team for 2 years once.
I think we started like during my last couple of weeks of uni,
So that was, I mean, like, you're like 50, right? So that was like the 90s, or
You had free uni, didn't you?
get him.
I mean, it might as well have been. It only cost me it only cost me the same amount of money as a house, which was like $50 back then.
Like, kick you in the head.
You're the one that set
That
up the
was a simpler
joke.
time.
I'm just delivering.
Yeah, I wish I didn't. Now I'm just sad.
Anyway, so 2 years and 100 episodes. Technically more than 100 episodes because there's a few spoiler casts in there as well. But
Oh, yeah, that's true.
yeah, kind of insane, honestly. Like, you know what's funny? Another couple podcasts. I'm not even sure if I've listened to the odd episode. I don't really follow, but a couple of them also celebrating 100 around this time, and they're like, yeah, it's crazy that it's been like 4 or 5 years and we finally hit 100 episodes.
Yeah, they're like monthly or 2 weekly.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, oh, your schedule is lacking. Yeah, I guess we'll flick it around the room. How have we grown as people? Seth, how have you grown as a person? Outwards, am I right?
I think I've stayed about the same, actually, instead of being inwards or outwards, which is worrying. I need to lose the heavy specimen tag on this Discord already.
Hey, round is a shape.
Get walking. Gotta get those steps up.
I have
Walk
been
to
recently.
Perth right now.
What have you had for dinner tonight, big fella?
I'm not obligated to answer that.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Chicken and brown rice every day. You'll hate eating, but at least you gotta do it, buddy.
Ah, yes, the dinner equivalent of a suicide note.
I don't really know. I've gotten better at using some like audition tools and just general things I use, like Adobe tools and stuff. Like
Sorry
I
to hear
said,
that.
when I was when we started up, I was just finishing up uni, so having like a proper stable job that's like for the first time in my life is incredible. Like having proper stable income is an incredible thing, but that was happening outside of the podcast anyway.
What do you mean? We have stable income via the podcast from all the sponsorships we do. Shout out to Steven's Ball Gags or whatever the fuck my previous segment was.
Krispy Kreme dropped us after 50 episodes.
Yeah, they did. They really dropped the ball on that. I guess a different question. So you've picked up some of the skills and things around editing the podcast together and things, and we're all eternally grateful for you to do that, because otherwise these would just sit as Audacity files, or in Steven's case, literally Audacity files and not exports on our respective computers, and no one would stitch them together. But I guess to speak for myself, I run a couple things at work which involve quite a bit of like presentation giving and public speaking and things. And doing this each week has been really useful in just like, there's no kind of nerves or fear around talking like out loud or like doing presentations or public, which I think I was always better than average at doing public speaking anyway. But yeah, just being sort of totally comfortable with like saying a joke during a presentation and it falling on its face and not making it awkward or making it intentionally awkward. But I think there's a whole bunch of soft skills that doing this has made me aware of, if not helped me actively practice, which has been cool.
Yeah, there's a few things like speaking wise I still want to get better at, which I haven't completely covered over the 100 episodes. It's just like, well, I just hit it there. I want to start using less. I want to try and be more aware of using less filler words like and Like we still hit those quite a few, like across all three of us, and I'm doing it constantly right now, and it's making me aware of it. Yeah, I do edit it out. I edit out
really?
I edit out the ums anyway.
Oh, this is gonna suck for people listening to this, because it's just gonna be periods of silence when you don't say anything when you edit out your own filler words.
You know, edit this out, Seth.
I thought he was about to drop a slur.
What do you mean? You did drop a slur. It's right there. I didn't edit it out.
What about you, Steve? How have you grown as a person over 100 episodes?
I don't know. I think probably just being, because remember when we first started, I was like, I only told like some close friends that I was doing it. And now, like, I'd just be like talking to people and they're like, oh, yeah, so what do you do for fun? I'm like, oh, yeah, I've actually got a world famous podcast. And they're like, yeah, right. And like I'll tell them what it's called, and like, well, this actually exists, and I'm like, and like, whoa, like you've done like a bajillion episodes.
Yep, yes, sir.
Me and Steven finally officially met because of the podcast, and now he goes around introducing people as me, his friend from the podcast. You listen to the podcast, right?
Yeah, because a lot of my friends like listen to it. I'm sure they're all. If my friends are listening to this, message me and let me know you listen to this, and I'll know who the real ones are. But like, well, especially like a lot of my close friends. Every time I see them, like, oh, you still doing that podcast thing? And I'm like, don't you listen to it every week? But at the very least, it's given me something to like break the ice with and make small talk with, which is like still nice. And it's always nice to have like just things to do. Like I'm always worried, and maybe the pandemic kind of woke me up to this. I'm a weird guy for saying that I love the pandemic because I didn't have to do anything. But you get so into the habit, especially when you're an adult, of getting up, going to work, coming home, and just sort of sitting in front of the TV or video games, which is something that I do love. But you do need a bit of variety. So it was sort of good to come home and like, well, I'm not sure about you guys, but it's like, oh shit, I got to do the podcast today. But then you do the podcast and you're like, yeah, fuck yeah, I love doing the podcast. It's great. And just sort of the way I approach video games now is probably a bit more critical as well. Like I'll take notes when I'm playing them, especially if something interesting or unique happens. And I'm always trying to look for, okay, what is this game trying to do? Like, is it trying to tell a story? Is it trying to make me have fun through the gameplay? Is it trying to get me to progress through its gameplay loop, so to speak? And it's probably given me a bit more, I don't want to say critical thinking skills, but it's given me a lot more time to reflect on, okay, I played this game. What did I think about it? And did I enjoy my time with it? Like it's, especially games come out all the time, especially Starfield, I'm throwing you under the bus. But I played that game and I'm like, oh, all right, okay, this is it. And I talked about it. And the more I was speaking about it, I'm like, you know what? I'm not really sure I'm digging this game. And then you think about it more critically and like, you know what? There's no need. I don't need to justify it to myself. Like if it's a mid game or it's slightly above average, call a spade a spade. But at the same time, you must always finish all the games that you start.
It's true. Otherwise, you're literally throwing money in the fire.
Exactly. Like I paid for the meal. I'm not going to stop eating the meal just because it tastes average. Yeah, that's a good analogy. I love food analogies. But yeah, and there's also the public speaking stuff that you talked about. Like I talk externally for like what I do for work, especially now with my new job down in Victoria.
Every business call starts with, do you have a podcast?
Sitting there in the team's meeting room. Yeah. So what's going on? Oh man, I've really started listening to this really good podcast. You got to start listening to it. Hey Stevie, this guy sounds like you.
Yeah, exactly. You do the thing where you just like leave it playing loudly on your phone on a bus and someone comes along like, oh, that sounds really interesting. What is that?
What do you mean? I got up to the bus driver and was like, hey bro, can I give me the aux?
Give me the aux. Every Uber ride just got so much more fun.
Man, he's one-upping our joke from last week.
What did you say last week?
We were calling out people that were listening to the episode a little too loudly on the bus.
It was the train. Oh no, it was the bus.
Yeah, I think it was just public transport in general.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, but yeah, no, been a good time.
I remember this must have been early 2022 now, where because we had a few runs at trying to put the format together, and even since then, I think we've had a fairly solidified format since maybe episode 10 or so. But even then, we've changed stuff. Like Steamcharts is still kind of new. The random what do we do if there's only two of us here just seems to be a fucking free-for-all every week. But I remember like, because I don't really like publicizing stuff that I do. I'm just, that's just like a personality thing. But I made a conscious effort because of how good episode 9 felt compared to all the previous episodes we did, that it was like, okay, I'm going to publicize episode 9. And so I did. I was like, hey, I'm only going to push this like once because I've been on the receiving end where someone gets into something and then it's just every week and they spam notifying you, and it's just like we're friends on Facebook or whatever, but like I can't, like it's polluting my feed because it's just the same stuff. Yeah, pretty much. So it was like, hey, I'm only going to push this out like as this like one-time thing. Doing this, we just released episode 9. I'm actually really happy with how it's turned out compared to the previous episodes. Give it a listen.
no idea if that actually had any meaningful impact on stats for episode 9.
Yeah, I think I did the same for episode 9, maybe as well for the 1 year episode. I'm definitely going to be doing a bit more of a share push with this episode when it drops. To just be like, hey, look, this thing I've been doing for a few years now. We've done 100 episodes. Come give it a check out. I'm pretty confident we're doing pretty good at this.
I'm no longer asking. Listen to the podcast.
Like the thing that's crazy to me, right, is that this will eventually stop. However it does, like it just will. But we've already outlasted so many other podcasts purely based on how long they've run for. And it's not like a short check-in of like 30 minutes to an hour each week. When this goes up, will be, until the end of time, I think approaching 300 hours of me talking.
All of it about Monster Hunter.
not in one continuous breath or anything, but it is kind of weird thinking that, like, yeah, at any point in the future, someone can come back and listen to this, and this is a snapshot of who I am and how I feel about things at this point in time. And there's something honestly really terrifying about that, but also just really cool, because it's like you do it for a couple episodes and you're like, yeah, I can sort of see this working, and you cross the 10 episode mark and you're like, yeah, getting into the swing. And then I made a big deal about 50 as well as the whatever episode it was that was 1 year on, because those are also large milestones, but it just sort of becomes routine. And Japan is sort of a weird exception because that was just such a crazy couple weeks that I didn't really think about it. But when I'm out of Auckland and I know that I won't be able to record, it is weird, as Steven was saying, kind of not having this thing that you know that you would normally be doing at this time on. Yeah, it's cool. I have many regrets, obviously. I would pick very, very different podcast hosts if we were to do a repeat, but there are probably statistically worse podcast hosts out there as well. So,
I mean, you keep me, right? Because if I wasn't the host, you wouldn't have me as your favorite editor.
Who's going to take all the ums and the ahs out?
You are definitely a top 5 editor, Saif.
Oh my god, I've dropped 4 ranks.
Oh, you said top 5. You didn't say like where you rank it at number 5.
Listen, if someone's saying top 5, you're at number 5.
Yeah.
The most generous is your number 4.
Say top 4 then.
I think the other interesting thing, I know that I just talked about like not wanting to publicize things, but I guess a slightly more kind of being real thing off the back of this question. I don't think so Seth might come in and kick my ass because I'm completely wrong. I have not checked, nor do I ever really want to keep checking, listen stats or any kind of stats as to how this podcast does. This could go out into the void.
Oh, I haven't checked those in a few good weeks.
Yeah, but that's sort of my point, is that we could be sending this and basically no one could listen to it. But we've also done 100 episodes. And I think there's something very empowering about the idea of we are either brave enough or stupid enough to, despite not getting any traction on 100 episodes, we haven't had any like viral moments, or I also don't think we've tried to have any viral moments or that sort of thing. That it's like a nice feeling that, at least for me, that we've done this without wanting any kind of fame. Like, fame and money would be great, hands down, just would make my life objectively better. But that the lack of that hasn't been a turnoff of like, hey, episode 12 is still getting like 0 to 10 views. Maybe this just isn't working out. No, we fucking balled through another 88 to get to where we are. Like, I don't know. I do like that side of it.
In essence, this is kind of this entire podcast is just kind of a project for us more than anything.
Yeah, exactly. That's what makes it.
Yeah,
that was fun. The second you have to do something about it, it's like, oh, it's not fun anymore.
Would we say that we are the trash taste of Australia and New Zealand? Probably. Or
I wouldn't.
We don't talk about anime, so we can't be the trash taste.
We could. Should we start talking about anime?
We did bring up JoJo a few minutes ago.
Yeah, we did. Might be on
Chainsaw Man was pretty banging today.
Yeah. There was no chainsaws in it, but
there were lots of hugs.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think that's probably all of my thoughts in a weird, incongruent mess, as is always. That's Seth talking about trying not to use as many filler words. One thing I really wish I had a better handle of after 100 episodes is just structuring my fucking thoughts. I still feel
Write
like
them
I
down.
just blitz word salad my way through every sentence, but here we are. I will say my segue game here and at work,
Huge.
huge. Yeah.
Phenomenal.
It was a shame that like when I was the host, I did a much better job of you, to the point where I just stopped using them because I was embarrassed.
Is that how we're remembering it now?
Yep. Don't believe me? Watch the episode again.
No, don't believe us. Watch all 100 episodes and then tell us if Steve's right.
Put it on the bus.
Put it on the bus. Good. Yeah. Anyone else have any other thoughts on this?
I think for me, like outside of the editing, it's just I've banged my head against so many of these episodes and projects that I'm understanding more and more. Oh, this makes good content. Oh, this makes bad content. Oh, this was a mistake. Look at the Final Fantasy 16 spoiler cast and how that went. I still put it out because I really enjoyed just going through the story and talking about that with friends. But also, holy shit, we structured that wrong and should not have done it that way.
But it's one of the video games of all time.
It is. It is definitely one of the video games of all time. Might even be in my top 5 on my backlogged accounts now.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But yeah, it's a lot of just trying to like understand structurally what makes something good and what would be bad, and would this attract an audience or not. Again, that Final Fantasy 16 one big mistake. I don't think anyone will be attracted to the podcast thanks to that one. Now I know how to handle the next spoiler cast when I do the Final Fantasy 17 one.
Final Fantasy 14 remake. Final Fantasy 14 on Xbox.
Hold on, let him cook. We'll have to do a spoiler cast for every expansion.
We're not doing that. I will simply not have time to play the game.
Oh, great. He finally gets it on Xbox and he's not going to play it.
I'm too busy talking about it. Anyway.
Weirdly, just off the back of that, while I'm thinking of it, pretty sure I play less video games now than I did when we started. Anyway. But that's the perks of being the host. I just have to be entertaining, and even that I've done less of now than back when we started. Anyway, now we're going to move on. Well, we're basically at the end of what is surely a bumper 100 episode special, which I'm fine with, because even though I say that every week, because they're all fucking bumper episodes.
Every episode's better than the last.
This one feels deserved, because this is actually a really big milestone. So I know that we're all sitting on the high of 100 episodes, but anyone want to tease anything to what's coming up for episode 101, the Dalmatian episode?
Well, now that you've said that, I might as well watch 101 Dalmatians.
I'm not going to watch that. I'm heading up to Brisbane on the weekend to compete in the Brisbane Regionals for Pokemon. I'm not confident. I don't know.
But it's a trip to Brisbane. Have fun.
I go up like Friday night and I come back Sunday night. And so I spend Saturday all day competing. And then if whatever act of God, I make it to day 2. I guess I'll be going to day 2. I don't know. I'm not too confident with my team. It just sort of feels like it's just generic meta. But I've had like a couple of matches on Showdown recently. And then I'm like, yeah, it's just, I'm not worried about the team. I'm more worried about my play with the team. Like, it's a little bit different to how I usually play. But oh well, that's showbiz, baby.
I'm 7 episodes down in Scott Pilgrim. There's 1 more to go. So I'll be finishing that off soon, and I'll probably talk about that next week, because I have some things to say about that. I've been enjoying it enough.
Controversial things to say?
No, I don't think it's going to be anything controversial. How about you, Patrick? What are you planning for next week?
Scott Pilgrim is on the list. I don't know if it'll be ready for me to talk about by next week. I doubt it, actually.
Yeah, I'll make sure I don't do like a spoiler deep dive. I just want to give some general impressions, which I think would be good enough for us to do a back and forth on if you do watch any of it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is I hope to watch at least some of the episodes. We'll see how we go. But I also found out recently that the creative minds behind The Haunting of Hill House and The Haunting of Bly Manor, the name is escaping me. I was going to say Vance Gilligan. That's not his. Anyway, they have a new series on Netflix as well, which I think is still in the horror, a very different setting based on the trailer that I saw. But I mean, off the back of the previous work, I'm already interested and will likely watch it. So whether I watch that, whether I watch Scott Pilgrim, whether I watch both, who knows? But that's sort of what's in the cards for me. And maybe I sort of wanted to make the joke earlier that I bought the Asus ROG Ally for the 100th episode special.
Are you an ally?
No, it's
Are you a ROG?
When I think between Ally, ROG, and Asus, I think I'm much more Asus now.
Asus.
Always Asus. Yeah,
Among
you got
Us.
me. You got me. Asus Ally. No, it was just because of how it worked out with the Cyber Monday sales for the place where I bought it from, which I think there'll be more Cyber Monday sales next week anyway. Maybe I'll talk a bit about the ROG. I really don't know what to talk about with it because I don't really talk about hardware very much. They call me Linus Tech Tips.
Pat Tech Tips.
But yeah, likely some kind of series is what's on the cards for me. But I didn't do the audience question plug. Let's just rewind before we talked about what episode 101 would bring. If you liked what you during us talking about, I guess a very sentimental reflection on our 100 episode hot streak, you and or your friends, enemies, whoever can get in touch. We're on Facebook at Fast Travel Lounge, Gmail fasttravellounge@gmail.com, Twitter /X, or I guess X formerly Twitter. That's how everyone calls it nowadays.
You have to say X and then formally Twitter in brackets. It's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
It actually is the funniest shit.
At Fast Travel Lounge minus one of the L's. The L is in Elon Musk's name, of course. We're also on
Blue Sky.
Blue
Just
Sky.
Fast Travel Lounge.
Blue Sky.
Send me an invite to Blue Sky, Seth. I am no longer asking.
You're right, I forgot. We'll send it to you right now.
I don't want it right now. I'm busy. Is there an app or something I download?
You can, but if you're on your computer, you can just go on the website.
I am never on my computer except for right now.
There is your invite, you filthy animal. It will notify me when you use my code as well.
Damn it. Cool. Thank you very much. I haven't received anything, but I'm sure I'll get something soon.
It's on Messenger.
Oh, Messenger. Yuck. Using a social... Oh, it'll be my tongue. Using social media to destroy the social media.
That's the one thing we haven't gone over in 100 episodes, biting our tongues while talking.
Yeah, usually I don't.
That was Mugerberg just jujitsuing your tongue right there.
You know what? I think I might treat myself to an ice cream on stream.
Oh, on stream. Where do you stream, Stephen?
Right now. I'm streaming right now.
Twitch.tv/Kai/Burr.
Underscore, not slash.
Underscore, yeah.
Stephen, it's a special Stephen eating ice cream episode. I reckon I'd eat a whole 4 liters of ice cream. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that.
Being real, if you did grab twitch.tv/goodsteven, probably a pretty based URL.
You know what? I'd actually be all in on the bit if he did that.
Let's see what I can do. Let's leave that with me. That's my homework for this week.
100 episode special, perhaps another streamer to add to the mix. Anyway, if you've enjoyed the absolute train wreck of an episode, which I say every fucking time, then please give us a review, give us a like, give us a comment, give us any kind of engagement on whatever platform you're listening to this on, because it really helps us out. Maybe we will eventually claw back the Krispy Kreme sponsorship if we can be bothered trying to make the bit work in episode 101. We'll see how we go. Until then, I've been Patrick. I've been joined by Seth and Steve. Thank you so much for joining us for this 100 episode special. Really has been a blast. And we'll catch you next time. Goodbye.
Happy birthday, good Stevening. It is available on Twitch. Check in later.